HBCU's longest-running rivalries continues today in Columbus, Georgia. The Maroon Tigers of Morehouse look to snap the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee's 21-game winning streak. SIAC football on ESPNU is coming up next. Since 1935, the Tuskegee and Morehouse faithful have gathered at Memorial Stadium in Columbus, Georgia to renew acquaintances, one of the oldest rivalries in all of college football, Tuskegee and Morehouse. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside Memorial Stadium along with Eddie Robinson, Jr. I'm Dwayne Ballin. Now, Tuskegee on paper looks like it has no problem. They're the big dog on the HBCU block, but not so fast.
Yeah, not so fast is correct, because this is a rivalry game. And when you have two teams like this that know each other well, you never know what's going to happen. But look at the last couple years. Tuskegee has won 11 out of the last 15 games in the last 4 in a row. Morehouse College has to step up and make something big happen today to turn this back into a true rivalry game.
If they're going to turn it back into a rivalry game, number one is stopping Tuskegee's version of Superman, Jakari Atkinson.
And that's easier said than done. I can run out of superlatives talking about Jakari Atkinson, but let's start by saying that he's over 1,000-yard rusher. Not just a guy who stands in the pocket and throws the football, but passing, yeah, he can do that too. He's passed for over 4,000 yards. But if you really want to measure the success of a quarterback, you have to judge him by wins and losses. As a starter, he's 17-0, and that's all that needs to be said about Jakari Atkinson.
And for Morehouse, Christian Sterling, the transfer from Texas Tech, making a name for himself.
Yeah, he absolutely is doing that. His coach is liking him to Brett Favre because he has a very strong arm. But not only that, he's a competitor, a very gutsy guy who plays above the X's and O's and will do whatever it takes today for Morehouse College to get that victory over Tuskegee University.
A couple of exciting offensive quarterbacks. Should be a lot of fireworks here today. Coming up, the Golden Tigers and the Maroon Tigers kickoff from Memorial Stadium.
Morehouse on ESPNU. See you at Morehouse on ESPNU.
We're watching SIAC football on ESPNU.
ESPNU College Football Prime Time is presented by Citi. Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it, because Citi never sleeps. Fort Benning, Georgia, home to the 11th Infantry Division. They started cooking out Eddie Robinson, Jr. yesterday at 3:30 in the afternoon, putting the pig on the grill, the chicken, and now this afternoon the parking lot is full, and the Tigers, both sets, are ready to go here at Memorial Stadium. Tuskegee comes in at 5-0, and let's take a look at the E-Rob report. Get your thoughts.
Well, yeah, let's start off. We have to start off with Tuskegee University. They must tackle on the edges. Morehouse College is #1 in the SIAC in passing in football, and they're going to test them on the edges with their wide receivers. Next thing they need to do is get off to a real fast start. You have a big play offense in Tuskegee, and you have to get back to making some of those big plays. They haven't done that in the last couple of weeks. For Morehouse College, you have to create turnovers. They only had 5 turnovers all year in 2008, and then you must establish a running game. They're last in the SIAC in running, and then the biggest thing is don't be stargazing. You see, you have guys like Jakari Atkinson and also Jason English. You have to enter the field today with some swagger, knowing that you can compete with Tuskegee College and get a victory.
Willie Slater, the man that is leading the Tuskegee machine in his 3rd year, 27-2. Graduate of West Alabama, 1979. What a record he has put together. 21-game winning streak. Rich Freeman on the other sideline, 2nd year, 10-5. Graduate of Tennessee State, was a great linebacker there back in 1995. Morehouse has won the toss, deferred to the second half, so Tuskegee will receive the opening kickoff. Tuskegee comes in 5-0, as we mentioned. Last year, won this game 33-10. Morehouse 3-1 in the conference, 3-2 overall. This is the 98th time these two schools have met. Began back in 1902 when Teddy Roosevelt was president. Micah Strife is the kicker. All conference for Morehouse. A junior from Decatur, Georgia. He'll be kicking away.
Morehouse is showing a lot of confidence in their defense to defer to the second half. Tuskegee a team that's averaging over 30 points a game, and you're going to let them touch the ball first.
Antoine Mitchell, number 3, and Mario Jackson, number 10, are back to receive for Tuskegee. And we're underway. Tuskegee and Morehouse, 98th time. Fielded by Jackson. Has some room over the 20, over the 30 before he is finally corralled down. And that's where Tuskegee's offense will start. Justin Murray on the stop. Jakari Atkinson, we talked about him a few moments ago. Is there anything he cannot do?
Well, he can do it all, but if you look at him this year, he started off extremely hot, and as he started to play the game 4 and 5, he started to tail off. He's kind of looked like some of my 401k portfolio. I don't know if I should buy or sell some of Jakari Atkinson. We'll see how he handles it today.
So Jackson's 30-yard return sets up the Golden Tigers. First down. Atkinson out of the shotgun, looking to throw, stumbles a bit. Releases to Tony Forney. And the running back picks up 8 yards. Take a look at Tuskegee's offensive unit. The men up front, they are led by Michael Stevens, the center. Back to the receivers. We talked about Atkinson. Keep your eye on Jason English and on Antoine Mitchell. Antoine Mitchell is a player that Coach Slater told us he has to get the ball into number 3's hands. Second and 2.
Atkinson is changing the play.
Well, it better be good when he has 3 backs set behind him. Opening moments of the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic here in Columbus, Georgia. From the 44, Atkinson on the keeper, has the first down, and is finally corralled by Johnny Eubanks. Taking a look at the Morehouse defensive unit, which has quite a task ahead for it today. Holmes, Nettles, Lane, and James up front. Linebackers are led by Jeffrey Cargile. He is their all-world performer. You will hear his name early and often in this one. Secondary, led by Derek Scott, who has 25 tackles. 9-yard pickup by Atkinson, set up a first down. So now Tuskegee with his first foray into Morehouse territory at the 45-yard line. Atkinson this time is nearly sacked, gets away from the defender, and is still alive. What ability to elude tacklers and get things done. Jamal James had him in his grasp, and Atkinson turns minus into plus.
Yeah, Atkinson just doesn't quit. I mean, this is just a great job of diagnosing the play by Morehouse College, but look at Jakari Atkinson. You have to be sound on the edges with a guy with this type of speed and the ability to make people miss, and he still turns it into an 8-yard gain. Should have been disastrous for Tuskegee, but once again, Superman diagnoses the play and makes something big happen.
A 9-yard pickup for him to the 36-yard line. His rushing numbers on the year, 8.1 average. That's a gaudy average. And last week he had 147 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in the victory over Alabama A&M in the Circuit City Classic. Movement along the line on second down. Markers are down on the field. Our officials are led by referee Robert Drake. And they include Mickey Collins, Stephen Duvall, Alexian Clouders, Willie Coleman, Michael Sweetman, and Bobby Jackson. We'll wait the word from Mr. Drake.
Dead ball. Encroachment. Number 99. Defense.
That's Darian Nettles, the junior from Montgomery. We mentioned the storied rivalry, the 98th meeting, Tuskegee leading it overall 63, 27, and 7. First met, as we noted, in 02. 73rd Annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, as it's known now. Tuskegee leads that. Tuskegee has won 10 of the last 12, the last 4 in a row. And, of course, last year, 33-10. Markers are down, so this one will probably come back.
Now, Dwayne, you remember just a couple weeks ago we did a Tuskegee-Stillman game, and Jakari Atkinson does a great job with the hard count and makes that defense jump offside. We'll see if Morehouse has trouble as he uses that hard count to try to get free yards.
Offsides. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Remain. First down.
So 1st and 5 is a good way to start if you're Tuskegee, but that's a bad thing for the Morehouse defensive unit.
Yeah, already they have 2 encroachment penalties by the Morehouse defense. They'll have to get used to Jakari Atkinson's cadence and realize that he's going to try to jump them offside as many times as he can today.
Golden Tigers operating from the 27-yard line on 1st and 5, opening moments of the first quarter. Their first possession. Atkinson the throw. Has a man across the middle. Touchdown, Tuskegee. Jonathan Lisa.
Well, and that's what happens when you give a team like Tuskegee a 1st and 5. You're able to play action and take a shot deep. No middle safety. Jonathan Lisa is able to make that catch and then just outrun and outmuscle the defender to get into the end zone for the early 6-0 score for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
That 27-yard touchdown is 3 touchdowns on the year for Lisa. Now, Dimitri Pillay on for the extra point. Markers down once again. Some movement before the snap. Opening drive jitters, maybe on the side of Morehouse. But Tuskegee coming down and doing what it has to do on the opening drive, coming right down and pushing Morehouse's defensive unit back and finally scoring.
Defense, half-yard penalty.
Eddie, what's going on right now with Morehouse's defensive unit? We have a number of penalties on this opening drive, and clearly they seem to be off.
Well, I think it's mainly Atkinson. You have to give him credit because I've saw him do the same thing against Stillman where he's able to use the hard count to make that defense jump offside. And it's a big advantage when you can get in a 1st and 5 situation. It's so much easier to convert first downs, but this Tuskegee offense doesn't need any extra help.
Pelez now on for the extra point after that 66-yard drive that resulted in 6 points. Atkinson to Lisa. He adds it on, and Tuskegee's Golden Tigers score the first 7. Will return to Memorial Stadium. Tuskegee and Morehouse on ESPNU. Looks mighty good. All kinds of fare for you, Eddie Robinson Jr. I think I saw you grab, what did you grab? Catfish sandwich?
I had some catfish, a catfish basket with some French fries.
Mighty good eating here at Memorial Stadium in Columbus, Georgia. Tuskegee and Morehouse opening series scoring drive for the Golden Tigers. 66 yards, 4 plays, capped off with that touchdown throw and catch from Atkinson to Lisa. Now Tuskegee is set to kick off to Morehouse. Back for Morehouse, Jamar Rodriguez, number 18, and Randall Ward, number 1. Tuskegee does not want number 18 to get it. He's number 2 in the SIAC in all-purpose yards, has the best kickoff average with 31. It's Rodriguez, and look out, he's dangerous. Over the 50 already, 1 man to beat. Up the sidelines. Rodriguez is finally knocked out of bounds after a big return. Stanley Reed on the tackle.
And if you're Morehouse College, that's exactly what you need. I mean, look at this guy. He's only 5'8", 160 pounds, but he's feelers. He hits it up there like he's a big guy. It just gets up through the middle. No one's there. Hey, you got to make one guy miss. And he does that right there and gets Morehouse College inside the red zone, and they're in business.
A 68-yard return sets up Morehouse's offense quite nicely. So we'll get our first look at Christian Sterling, number 19, the transfer, as we noted, from Texas Tech. Coach Rich Freeman tells us he has a cannon for an arm, a pure pocket passer, will not run much, but knows how to make the right decisions. First down, they keep it on the ground. That's Pernez Pickney, the big junior fullback. Christian Sterling, he has the arm.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that, 368 yards, 4 touchdowns. This guy's put up some big numbers. Now, he's not the runner that Jakari Atkinson is, but as far as throwing the football, second in the SIAC.
3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7 for Morehouse. James Stedman and Juan McFadden split on top of your screen there. Back once again to Pinkney. And he's met quickly. Offensive line led by Ramon Harwood, the senior from Barbados. Skilled people. Keep your eye on McFadden, number 6. He will get the ball early and often. Avery, another very good receiver. Number 77, Harwood, sophomore, 6'8", 310 pounds. Has arrived here by way of Queens College. Morehouse looking to even the score. Sterling under pressure. Has a receiver open. Touchdown, Morehouse. James Stedman, who leads the conference in receiving. His 5th touchdown of the season.
That's just a good job of Christian Sterling, just buying extra time. I mean, originally they were trying to go to the left side, no one's open, then the pressure breaks down the pocket, but he's able to roll out and still find a big receiver in the back of the end zone. Great job by Morehouse and Stedman responding to that opening drive by Tuskegee. Of course, it was set up by the big kickoff return.
9-yard catch for Stedman. The extra point from Micah Strife is up and good, and we're deadlocked here at Memorial Stadium in Columbus, Georgia. Sterling finds a Stedman, and we're even at 7.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Big City Slider Station. The fast and easy way to press and cook delicious sliders. Those restaurant mini burgers everyone loves. No more squishing and squashing or flipping and flopping. With the Slider Station, just scoop, press, and cook right on your stove. The unique design cooks both sides at once, so you never have to flip them. And in just 2 minutes, you'll have 5 mouth-watering sliders. Use dinner rolls, potato rolls, any bun. You can double or triple stack them and watch your family attack them. Top with pickles, onions, ketchup or cheese. Big City Sliders are sure to please. The double-sided non-stick surface is so slick, not even burnt-on cheese will stick. Whether it's ground beef, chuck, or sirloin, just...
We're tied at 7 with 10:06 remaining in the first quarter here in the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. Welcome back to ESPNU College Football, presented by Citi. The Golden Tigers of Tuskegee University and the Morehouse College Maroon Tigers. Coming up, women's college soccer, Connecticut versus West Virginia. West Virginia ranked number 18 in the country. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday on ESPNU. It's women's college soccer. So Morehouse answers Eddie Robinson Jr., the opening salvo by Tuskegee, and we are tied. 2 good offenses, helped by a special team on Morehouse.
Yeah, the big special teams play. Look, the drive was only 3 plays and 13 yards, but when you have that big return, and of course was set up by Jamar Rodriguez, Morehouse was able to score quick, and now it's Tuskegee's chance to try to answer to that Morehouse score.
Micah Strife set to kick away, waiting to receive. Antoine Mitchell, number 3, and Mario Jackson, number 10 for Tuskegee. It is Mitchell who catches it, muffs it, picks it back up. Up the sideline, has room, markers fly. He's at the 50. Finally hit and knocked down close to the 40-yard line. Charlie Wilson on the tackle, but remember there's a marker down. Waiting for Richard Drake, our referee, to tell us what the infraction was and against whom. Doesn't look good. Tuskegee's walking back if you're a Golden Tiger.
What happens here, once that ball hits the ground, that coverage team always seems to relax, and Antoine Mitchell gives him a chance just to get up and down the sideline. But of course, you still have that holding penalty. You can't see it. Well, maybe that's it. You see he's grabbing the back of the jersey. Whenever you're trying to block outside the framework of the body, that's an easy call for the refs to make.
Antoine Mitchell, sophomore from Atlanta, Decatur High School.
During the return, first down.
Mitchell with 17 receptions, 364 yards, 1 touchdown coming into this game. His longest so far is 61. He is very dangerous, and as we mentioned, Willie Slater Jr. wants to see the ball in his hands more this game. That's one thing he felt they didn't do well in their victory last week over Alabama A&M. First down, Atkinson looking to throw, has time, has a man open across field. Jason English.
You see here, they're just running an outside vertical stretch, and they're just running a corner route here. And what happens is the Morehouse secondary player just doesn't get enough depth and makes it for an easy throw and catch with Jakari Atkinson to Jason English. They have to just drop back and be more patient in their zone coverage. Look at Atkinson's number in his career at Tuskegee. 17-0 is the record as a starter, and that's what I really like about that.
Those 1,229 yards coming into this game led the conference in all-purpose. He was a preseason All-America, and there was movement along the line. This may be a free play because it appeared as though Michael Green, number 58, jumped for Morehouse.
And if so, that would be the 3rd time today that Tuskegee has the benefit of Morehouse jumping off sides, using that hard count. Atkinson does a great job with that. Morehouse defensive line will have to be more patient, be more disciplined to realize that he's going to try to hard count you to slow you down.
We know it's offsides against, you can the look on Rich Freeman's face tells you everything.
Well, I'm going to tell you why, because this isn't something that he hasn't told his players. I mean, he's been able to do this quite a few times to a number of teams. So it's something you prepare for during the week. Hey, this kid is going to hard count you. Try not to jump offside. And for it to happen in the game 3 or 4 times in the first quarter already, that's a little bit disheartening for your defensive coach.
Everyone having a little bit of fun here. This is a big one. Tuskegee and Morehouse going back 98 years. These two amazing institutions have gathered on the football field. Jakari Atkins already 3 for 3, 49 yards and a touchdown. Back to throw again. Has a man across the middle. In and out of the hands, but excellent defensive job by Derek Scott.
They're trying to go to the big tight end, Stanley Reed. They don't throw it to him much, but if you're not going to have a safety in the middle, hey, why not give him a shot? But this is a great job, like you said, by Derek Scott, timing up his attack on the football and not getting a personal foul. I mean, roughing up, not getting a penalty on the play, but just a great job by Derek Scott of coming across and breaking up that pass.
Junior from Brownwood, Georgia, 6'2", 190. Looking for his 3rd interception, he hopes sometime this afternoon on 2nd and 5. Atkinson will be corralled. He had nowhere to go. Jeffrey Cargile was the first person there. Cargile came into this one with 39 tackles, 5.5 sacks. He's an all-conference performer, and you just saw why on that play.
Yeah, Jeffrey Cargile, he's like a rover. He'll play like the whip position. Look on the outside. This is a great job of defending the option, taking away the pitch, and then still realizing I have a chance to come back and make a play. Once they lost the pitch relationship with the quarterback to the running back, at that point, that's when you attack the quarterback and make the tackle. Good patience by Cargile. Then he was still able to complete the play by actually tackling Jakari Atkinson.
That loss of 2 sets up 3rd and 8 at the 36-yard line of Tuskegee. We're tied at 7 here at Memorial Stadium. Atkinson looking to throw it, has a receiver, overthrows Mitchell. And the punting unit will come on, and for the first time, the Morehouse defensive unit does the job.
Yeah, they did a great job, because you have to remember, they started off with a 1st and 5. They actually had an encroachment penalty on 1st down, so to stop Tuskegee offense, to not get a 1st down after you start off with a 1st and 5, that's just an incredible job by this Morehouse defense.
We'll get to take a look at Chris Kahn, their fine junior punter, averaging 38 yards per punt. As long as it's 54. Back to receive is Tydrick Williams, number 81 for Morehouse. Low snap. They come after it. Not quite. And it will bounce, and where it will be down by Tuskegee, and that's where Morehouse will take over. A 39-yard punt. Log on to your online source for all things college sports, ESPNU.com. This online service is a gateway to all college sports content from ESPN, combining the latest news with an expanded collection of exclusive material, scores, columns, video, and audio highlights, podcasts, live streaming games, and much more. Log on to ESPNU.com today. Morehouse now takes over, led by Christian Sterling at the 39-yard line. Sterling looking to throw. As a receiver, in and out of the hands of Ashil Hajim. Take a look at the Tuskegee defensive line. Jarvis Devon is the big man up front, number 49, 13 tackles, 6 sacks, leads the conference coming into it. The linebackers are headed up by Clifton Sanders, 33 tackles. That leads the team coming into it. And the secondary, watch out for number 41, Jeremy Obie. He has 17 tackles and a couple of interceptions. 2nd and 10 from the 39. Handoff. And Brandon Anderson was there quickly to snuff out any semblance of a run. They tried to go with Cameron Ford, the freshman, but he really didn't get anywhere.
You look at Morehouse College, only 51 total yards from Cameron Ford on the season. They're last in the SIAC in rushing the football, but they're first in the pass. But what Coach Freeman told us that they have to be more patient. They have to be committed to the running game. And early on, you see they're trying to run the football. Whether you have success or not, you still have to have an attempt to try to run the football so you can have some balance with your offense. You can't just be a pass every down team.
Just a pickup of 2. 2nd down. And that is incomplete. So that'll bring on the punting unit. Get to see Micah Strife, who's also their place kicker, is their punter. He is an all-conference punter, so he's one of the best in the country. Back to receive. Not a bad average. Number 3, Antoine Mitchell, is waiting at his 10-yard line for the punt. 7:13 remaining here in the first quarter. Strife gets off a pretty good punt. Mitchell backpedaling, picks it up at the 1. Gets away and works his way down to close to the 20-yard line, where DeJuan Thigpen stopped him. The band's going to be playing later on today here at Memorial.
Hello, I'm Robert Michael Franklin, the 10th president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. At Morehouse, we know that intellectual excellence and spiritual wholeness go hand in hand. Over the past 140 years, Morehouse has been committed to challenging, training, and refining young men to become
7-7. Willie Slater Jr.'s Tuskegee Golden Tigers are tied with the Morehouse Maroon Tigers in the first quarter here at the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. SIAC News and Notes. Jakari Atkinson, the man you're watching, is the Offensive Player of the Week. Another man you just saw in the last series, Clifton Sanders, Defensive Player of the Week for Tuskegee. And the newcomer, A.J. McKenna from Albany State.
I think the biggest thing about this Tuskegee football team is they have a great offense. Everyone knows that. But they bring a lot of defense to the party also. Jarvis Devon and a lot of those players, they play an extremely good and hard style of defense. Really makes them a complete football team.
Mitchell's 19-yard return sets up Tuskegee at the 20-yard line. That return still, to pick up that ball after muffing it at the 1 and get it there was quite a bit of athletic work by Mitchell. Atkinson, the pitch goes to Forney. He has room around the right side. The junior from Atlanta picks up 5 yards. His numbers this year, they'd like to get more out of him. He's averaging just under 72 yards per game. And they would like to run the ball a little more than they have away from, other than Atkinson.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, look at Jakari Atkinson. He's second in the conference in rushing. So they have a very good running game, but it's just running back with the quarterback and with the running backs who all complement each other to have a complete running game by the Tigers.
2nd and 6 from the 24. Atkinson elects to keep it. Morehouse reacted pretty well in relative terms to that. First person there was Brandon Cunningham, the junior linebacker. Look at Tuskegee University, storied history, founded in 1881 by Booker T. Washington. They're the Golden Tigers, colors of crimson and old gold. Quite a bit of history on that storied campus.
And Tuskegee Airmen, we'll get into some of that later, but just a lot of great things going on in a very small town down in Tuskegee.
We'll visit that a little later in the telecast. 3rd and 2. 5:47 remaining in the first quarter. Tied at 7. First man through gets it. First down for Tuskegee. John Paskley gets the first down. That's the sophomore fullback from Millery, Alabama. Turner Coggins on the tackle. Paskley with 2 touchdowns, 6.1 average, but he doesn't get the ball as much as Slater would like. He'd like better distribution with his running backs.
Yeah, but when you have a quarterback like Jakari Atkinson, I'm going to let him touch it all the time.
First down for the Golden Tigers. Atkinson throws it, has a receiver on the far side. Stanley Reed. Nice work by the tight end.
Yeah, it's the second time, and this isn't something that they do a whole lot of. But now, hey, for a tight end to reach out and get that grab right on the sideline, that's just a great job of the throw and catch. And they tried to go to him once before up the middle of the field, and now they're working him on the sideline. Only 2 receptions this year, but seems like he's going to be the focal point today.
Well, he and number 7, Johnny Eubanks, in maroon and white have been going at it a bit. There are markers down before the play is snapped. Third member of our officiating, our broadcast crew already tonight is fast becoming Richard Drake, our referee.
Give him a headset.
Encroachment called against Morehouse. So Morehouse's problems with the cadence and what Jakari Atkinson is calling continues.
Yes, it's a big problem, but Jakari Atkinson has been able to do this all year. A lot of penalties on the other team because he uses that hard count extremely well, and that's something that you have to control. He had 4 penalties for 20 yards already on Morehouse, and that penalty actually converts it and moves it for a first down. I mean, it was a 2nd and short, but now you give him a first down. Whenever you give up penalties and lets the team convert to first down, that's bad.
Atkinson looking to throw, picked up the blitz, got it to his man, but the ball was dropped. And you don't see Antoine Mitchell drop many passes. Morehouse was blitzing on the play, but Atkinson picked it up pretty well. Took a shot at the end.
Yeah, Atkinson took a big shot by number 56, Mario Lane of Morehouse. But you once again, I mean, Antoine Mitchell, this guy doesn't drop many passes. Very fortunate for Morehouse because if he makes that catch in the flat, he had some running room. He could have made some big things happen. And of course, he's a punt return, kick return guy. He knows how to move down the field when not a lot of people are around him and he's in space.
2nd and 10 at the 46 now. Jason English, number 8, just checked in for Tuskegee. Keep your eye on him. Atkinson under pressure. He was looking for English, just picked off. Randall Ward, look out, touchdown Morehouse. 46-yard interception return for Randall Ward.
we're going to have to put that one on Jakari Atkinson because they were trying to run the bubble screen at the bottom of the field, and he double clutched. You can't double clutch when you have a 3-step drop in the doubles when you're trying to run that bubble screen. But Randall Ward, just a great job of believing what he saw and reading the quarterback's hand, and he just took that play and made the interception and puts Morehouse ahead in this football game. Great defensive effort by Morehouse College.
The junior from Detroit and Jackson State gives Morehouse the lead. You rarely see a mistake by Atkinson like that. The extra point from Strife is good, and so it's Morehouse leading 14-7. And we were talking about Morehouse's defensive unit looking off.
Look at the pressure. You see Carriot coming with the pressure, but Jakari Atkinson, he just double clutches that pass. And Randall Ward was just sitting, waiting to make a play. And once he gets that interception, man, there's just no one ahead of him except for the open field and the touchdown.
And one of the best ways, I guess, to negate some of the problems that Morehouse's defense had is start those blitzes and start really coming after Atkinson.
Yeah, well, George Copeland, the defensive coordinator for Morehouse, said that you don't want to give up the big play. You have to keep Jakari Atkinson in the pocket so he doesn't beat you on the edges. But then you also have to take strategic chances and blitz and bring pressure. And they've been doing that here and there. And that one really leads to a big play, and it converted to a touchdown by the Morehouse defense.
Strife will now kick away to Antoine Mitchell and Mario Jackson. Mitchell, number 3, Jackson, number 10. Mitchell has that 22.8 return average coming into this game. Jackson's 18.8. So Morehouse here with 3:59 remaining in the first quarter has taken the lead thanks to alert defensive play. Randall Ward's INT. The kickoff is fielded by Jackson at the 1. Straight up the middle, and down he goes across the 20-yard line. Quincy Avery on the tackle. Women's college volleyball continues on ESPNU Sunday night as the Florida A&M Rattlers take on the North Carolina A&T Aggies. Don't miss a serve, set, or spike. Women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday night at 6:30 Eastern. For more information, log on to espnu.com. 19-yard return for Tuskegee. Now, Tuskegee's Golden Tigers are in a very rare position. They are behind, and it's just a land they're not accustomed to being in.
Well, they're behind, and they also have given up a score by their offense. And look at Jakari Atkinson's numbers, only 59 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
They'll like to keep it on the ground on the first play of this series, and a host of maroon jerseys greet the ball carrier. 4-yard pickup for John Paskley, who's been carrying the ball a number of times, more so than we saw in the last game we did with them in Stillman.
Yeah, it's trying to establish the running game. You can't be too one-dimensional.
Quick snap. This time Atkinson will keep it, picks up the first down into the secondary, and is finally forced out of bounds, but not before a big pickup.
And it seems like Jakari Atkinson is running with a little bit more of an attitude right here. He's not thinking pitch. He's saying, hey, I just made a mistake, and I'm going to take this game over, and I'm going to start running the football. And the thing about him, even though he's a quarterback, when he turns the corner and actually starts running, he turns into a full-fledged running back. He's not looking to slide or go out of bounds. He's competing and getting every yard on every play.
6'3", 205 senior from Valley, Alabama, picks up 17 yards, sets up a first down for the Golden Tigers at their own 42-yard line. We're in the final moments of the first quarter of the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic here in Columbus, Georgia, along with Eddie Robinson Jr. and our entire ESPNU crew. I'm Dwayne Ballon. Atkinson of Tuskegee out of the shotgun under pressure. There's a marker down as he threw it away right around the 38-yard line. Atkinson looks a little rattled. I didn't think I'd be saying those words at all.
Well, it's still early. We'll see what happens. I mean, Tuskegee, they had the perfect play call. Morehouse was blitzing, so you like to have a screen against the blitz, but the offensive lineman for Tuskegee, they have to slow them down before they go out the block. You can't just let them run in scot-free.
Holding. Number 79 of the offense. Remain. First down.
Ira Soares called for the hold.
Here you can see the blitz coming up the middle. And Atkinson, once again, he's feeling a little uncomfortable. I mean, he's trying to set up the screen, but they're just letting the D-line come in a little too fast and doesn't have anyone open.
Well, clearly, as you noted, George Copeland, Morehouse's defensive coordinator, has decided that the blitzes are going to work, and so far they have been. And this Tuskegee offensive unit does not look like the well-oiled machine that we're all accustomed to seeing right now.
I mean, averaging over 500 yards a game and over 33.4 points this year, first in the SIAC in both of those categories. And so far, I mean, this Morehouse defense has been up to the task.
Atkinson and his mates are facing 1st and 20 at their own 32-yard line, trailing 14-7 here at Memorial Stadium. Atkinson steps up, elects to keep it, and he picks up the first down before he's finally corralled by Derek Scott. He can really change things quickly.
Well, when you look at this play, I thought he would have been stopped for a 5-yard gain. Designed quarterback draw, but he's just faster than everyone else on the field. I mean, everyone has an angle, and he just runs past your angle and just gets into the open field so fast. I mean, this guy is truly amazing what he can do, not only passing the football, but also as a runner.
That 27-yard pickup gives Tuskegee operating territory at the 41-yard line of Morehouse. 1st and 10. Atkinson resetting. Second man through is Forney, and he is grabbed by Brandon Cunningham, but not before a pickup that moves the marker. And if they can get that on the ground from some of their running backs, that will keep Morehouse's defense honest.
Yeah, because you have to realize they run a lot of option with Tuskegee, so it's always hard to blitz against the option, because if you guess wrong, that quarterback gets on the edge with a pitch man. So you have to be sound in your blitzes if you're Morehouse, but you still have to take chances to realize that in order to stop this offense, you're going to have to gamble and try to make some big plays, and they've been doing that so far this game.
2nd down. This time Atkinson operating out of the shotgun, has 4 receivers.
Pressure coming again.
Releases, looking long for Antoine Mitchell, but that ball was not catchable. Defending on the play was Troy Shine.
And this is just pure man coverage. They're blitzing 7 guys, and you see they're getting hits on Atkinson. And yeah, that's what you need to make him feel uncomfortable. You can't just let him throw passes off his front foot and look down the field as the receivers catch the ball.
Now, you're an old defensive player. In your mind, what does that do when you, what are you trying to accomplish there?
Well, you're just trying to let him know that you're in his face, that we're around here. Even if you don't get the sack or you don't get him down, you just still want to get that bump on him to make him feel uncomfortable for the rest of the football game.
3rd and 8 for the Golden Tigers. Atkinson, the pitch is out to Forney. Does not get the first down. Pretty good defensive job by the maroon-clad Tigers. Johnny Eubanks was one of those on the tackle along with Cargile. And they really have settled down defensively.
Yeah, they have, but they're on the 35-yard line, so this may be 4-down territory for Tuskegee. See, maybe the kicking team is coming in the football game.
Maybe they also recognize that Morehouse's defensive unit has stiffened a bit. We are approaching the end of the first quarter. So after 1, Morehouse is leading Tuskegee 14-7. A bit of a surprise here at Memorial Stadium in Columbus, Georgia. 2nd quarter on ESPNU when we return.
From the moment you arrive on campus, you'll notice there's something different about Tuskegee University. Cutting-edge academic programs, small classes led by dedicated faculty provide a rich environment for technical, business, liberal arts, nursing education, environmental science, and biotech engineering. Discover the Tuskegee experience today.
Look at how well these lifting straps work for carrying furniture, appliances, and mattresses. Dollies can damage floors, hand trucks beat upstairs, and don't tug. Mattresses get ruined. You can pick items up by hand, but you have to bend down. These adjustable straps carry items inches off the floor to avoid lifting high. Dollies get stuck in thresholds. These straps lift right over door sills, and not only do they encourage proper lifting techniques, but they also employ leverage, making the pieces you carry feel lighter.
Medically speaking, I would use the forearm forklift because I think it's a safe device. I would prefer my husband to lift furnishings with the forearm forklift instead of by hand because I want him to protect his back.
When we were moving in, we had this huge entertainment center. We had it down the stairs and in the truck in no
70 while supplies last. Call 800-691-5870 now.
They are grilling it up and have been doing it all day. Lots of food consumed on this beautiful Saturday college football afternoon in Columbus, Georgia. Morehouse College, with quite a story in that great institution based in Atlanta, founded in 1867. The Maroon Tigers, of course, one of its great educators, the legendary Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, will tell you about a few of the alums that you probably heard about once or twice, a little later in the telecast. So when we left, the punting unit appeared to be coming on for Tuskegee, but the Golden Tigers have elected to go for it as we commence the fourth quarter on 4th and 5. Atkinson under pressure. So on downs, Morehouse's defensive unit does the job. John Roberts was coming fast, along with Earl Thomas, the linebacker on that side, number 9.
Yeah, once again, Morehouse deciding to bring pressure. You see guys coming around, look at number 9. Hey, get his hands up. Earl Thomas, that is as good as a turnover. When you stop a team on 4th down, that's just like getting a fumble or an interception. And once again, Morehouse College offense is back on the field with a 14-7 lead. Who would have thought they would be in this position going into the second quarter?
Folks, I got to tell you, my partner here is surprised. We were talking in the break, and you're stunned at what you're seeing right now.
Well, I'm stunned at Morehouse College, the way they've been able to play defense against Tuskegee's offense.
Sterling to the air, has a receiver open. That's Quincy Avery. So what happens now if Christian Sterling gets really comfortable and is able to distribute the ball and not worried about getting into a shooting match because the defense is doing the job?
Well, you still have your whole playbook. You can run and pass and use your play action. That'll make Morehouse just that more effective on offense.
Ball at the 37-yard line on 2nd and 7. Keep it on the ground. Sterling's targets. Talented trio here. Two top receivers in the conference, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you look at Stedman, Avery, all of these guys. I mean, they're just very good. Also, Hengy, they're the #1 pass offense in the conference. Jakari Atkinson and all the great things he does at Tuskegee. This Morehouse College offense, they've been doing a great job throwing the football. So if they can get really comfortable with that running game, we know they can throw. Tuskegee's defense will have their hands full today.
3rd and 5 from the 40-yard line for Morehouse. Out of the shotgun is Sterling looking for a receiver. It's picked off. What a job by Derek Douglas. Excellent defensive work. You could not draw it up better. Bodied up on his man and comes away with the pick.
Yeah, Morehouse, when we just talked about the great things they were doing offensively, Christian Sterling here looking for the slant route. Just a great job of Derek Douglas cutting in front, out manning the receiver, just from taking that football and getting that interception. Just a great job by Tuskegee when they needed it most. Down 14-7, you're driving, you're trying to face a drive by Morehouse College, and that defense steps up and make a play. Derek Douglas, 12 tackles, and now his 2nd interception on the season.
And he's doing it before the hometown folks. He's a senior from right here in Columbus, so he probably has a few in his cheering section here today. Ball at the 45-yard line for Tuskegee, trailing 14-7. Keeping it on the ground, but the Morehouse defensive unit will have none of that, led by Mr. Cargile.
And Cargile, Jeffrey Cargile from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 29. We've talked a lot about him so far, but this guy, man, he plays that whip position on Morehouse College defense. He has 5.5 sacks from that position, first in the SIAC in tackles for loss with 10.5. He's a very active player, not very big guy. Kind of reminds you of a Bob Sanders type player who's just very physical and gets to the football with a bad attitude.
He's only 5'9", 200 pounds, but you know he's there. 2nd and 12. Atkinson under pressure, just throws it away. Morehouse's defensive unit is really disrupting Jakari Atkinson.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of getting pressure into the quarterback's face. He hasn't been able to follow through on any throws. You can tell he wasn't ready to throw that football. The receiver couldn't come out of the break, so you have to throw it a little early, and that's what you have to do. It's not all about getting sacks or knocking them on the ground. Just make them feel uncomfortable. Let people know that you're in the backfield, and you just look at the time of possession here. Tuskegee 11 minutes to Morehouse's 4 minutes, but still, with that turnover for a touchdown, they're down on the scoreboard.
It's quantitative versus qualitative and special teams.
I'm sure the students at both of these fine colleges will understand this.
3rd down and 12. Atkinson out of the shotgun, trailing by 7. Across the middle, has his man open. Jonathan Lisa makes the grab, and that's a 1st down for the Golden Tigers, one they really needed.
Yeah, and that's what scares you when you're facing this Tuskegee offense. You can have them in 2nd and 20, 3rd and 25, but they're such a big play offense, they can still come back and get back in position and convert for another 1st down.
17-yard pickup. Derek Scott once again on the tackle. Number 5 in Maroon has been very active in this game. So it's 1st and 10 for Tuskegee at the 30-yard line of Morehouse. Remember, the Golden Tigers have a 21-game winning streak on the line here this afternoon. Atkinson under pressure. Finds his man. Excellent job of recognition by the quarterback. That's a 1st down as he gets it to Jason English. DeJuan Holmes was the man running down, trying to track Atkinson down.
Yeah, and it's so tough when you have a guy that can run as good as Jakari Atkinson does. When he breaks the pocket, he really breaks down the whole integrity of your defense, because everyone takes their eyes off of the receivers. They start looking at Atkinson, and then the receivers are able to get open, just like Jason English did on that play.
22-yard pickup. Mr. English, a senior from Mobile, Alabama. Well, that went nowhere because Morehouse's defensive unit was not fooled. And once again, Jeffrey Cargill was right there to stop things.
Yeah, design quarterback draw, but Jeffrey Cargill is able to recognize the play and attack it immediately. And that was able to get them that stop by Morehouse College. Now we have a man down on the field for Morehouse.
Injured player being tended to. Take a look at Cargill from Cincinnati. ESPNU's live coverage of women's college soccer begins Sunday afternoon with a Big East showdown as the Connecticut Huskies face the West Virginia Mountaineers. Women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday at 2 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Columbus, Georgia's Memorial Stadium. Brandon Cunningham is the man down, being tended to, a junior linebacker from Decatur, Georgia, M.L. King Junior High School. Medical staff for Morehouse is tending to him. We'll step aside and return to Memorial Stadium in Columbus, Georgia. Morehouse 14, Tuskegee 7 in the 2nd.
We represent the Coke brand. We would like to sue Coca-Cola Zero for taste infringement.
I'm an immigration lawyer.
We feel that your expertise might be able to be a way to think outside the box.
I think, personally, not that speaking outside the box, and I hate that kind of language. I deal with families and things, and I appreciate what you're trying to do.
Now that I think of it, Ron, the head of the Coke Zero team's Canadian. Could we have him deported?
Da, 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 da.
If you're looking for a comeback story that's full of heart.
If you need anything, like money or something like that, don't you hesitate to call me now.
You're not my father, Floyd.
She said what?
Keep looking.
You knocked up my wife. Hold it from me first. I can't stand.
For these two soul men.
My eyes. I'm sorry, man. I got on these tight slacks.
A lot can happen on the road to the top. Samuel L. Jackson, Bernie Mac. Soul Men.
All that. God, what's wrong with you, mama?
Rated R. Everywhere November 7th.
Hey, Vincent. Go State.
Hey, Ham. Why did that guy call you Vincent?
Because that's my real.
Brandon Cunningham, that's a wonderful sight to see. He is up, probably got his bell rung a little bit, laughing there with the trainer. It's 2nd and 8. Atkinson, the pitch. That was to Stephen Freeman, the junior. Picked up a few.
In this Morehouse defense, they seem to be adjusting to the speed of Jakari Atkinson. They started off having a lot of trouble defending this option play, but now, look, they were able to string this thing out. Just move along, finally make him pitch the ball late. And look at all the maroon jerseys running to the football to make that tackle.
Earl Thomas was the man that knocked him out of bounds. So it's now 3rd and goal for Tuskegee. Remember, the Golden Tigers have dominated just about everyone they have played over the better part of 2 years.
And if you coach Freeman, you have to be very pleased with the start. He didn't want his team to be stargazing at Atkinson. He wanted them to come out here and hit him in the mouth, and they've been doing that.
48% third down conversion for the Golden Tigers. To the air. It's picked off for the 2nd time this game. He's thrown an interception. This time it's Johnny Eubanks, who's still on his feet.
He has some.
What work out over the field. Navigates to the far sideline and is finally tackled. Antoine Mitchell came up from behind to make the tackle along with Jakari Atkinson. But what a piece of work on the part of Eubanks.
Yeah, great job on the interception, on the return, and the return. They were trying to run a double move, but Johnny Eubanks out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's been out of football for the last 2 years, was all SIAC back in 2005. Had 1 interception before this game. Now he makes a real big one with the return, but also has the personal foul penalty with throwing that football in there.
Unsportsmanlike celebration, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So that 52-yard interception return will be cut down by 15. Morehouse so far has Tuskegee's number, leading at 14-7, looking for more when we return to Columbus, Georgia.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
5 feet from the hole, right here.
Hey, big fella, want a cold one?
Yeah, that's it. Come on, you can do it.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Morehouse leading Tuskegee 14-7. Eddie Robinson Jr., one of the major storylines so far, defense for Morehouse.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at Randall Ward. He comes and gets this big interception, and he returns it for a touchdown to give him a 14-7 lead. Then you have number 9, the linebacker, Earl Thomas, coming around on a 4th down play to turn the ball over for Morehouse College. And finally, Johnny Eubanks. This guy comes up with an interception in the red zone, returns it 53 yards. Morehouse College making big plays on defense and really limiting the opportunities that Tuskegee's Jakari Atkinson is having today.
You saw there number 5, his head was covered by a teammate, but that's Jakari Atkinson, who uncharacteristically appears a bit rattled, but folks, you can bet number 5 will be back in a big way in this game. Ball at the 34-yard line for Kristen Sterling and the maroon-clad Morehouse Tigers. Excellent defensive work by Justin Hanna. Avery with the catch, but very little working there because of the work by Hanna.
Yeah, great job of tackling on that play. Now, one thing Morehouse College likes to do, they like to pass to the edges and let those wide receivers win those one-on-one matchups. It'll be real important for Tuskegee's cornerbacks to make those tackles when they're out on the perimeter.
Split wide to the top of your screen is James Stedman, the top receiver in the conference. Keep your eyes on him. Roll out Sterling, dumps it off. That was to Gerald Cook. but pretty good response by the defensive unit of Tuskegee.
Yeah, number 27, Robisky by Tuskegee, just playing it like it's drawn up in the textbook. You hold off the deeper guy, and you make the sure tackle, and don't let him get any run after catch. Puts Morehouse in a third down situation now.
The thing that Leon Murray, the offensive coordinator, and head coach Rich Freeman told us about Sterling is he's a guy who doesn't remember his mistakes. Going to the air, has a man across the middle, miscommunication with Tewan McFadden, who really was open. So that'll bring on the punting unit. And Morehouse doesn't take advantage of an opportunity after that big interception in the end zone by Johnny Eubanks.
Well, when you have a 14-7 lead, if you're Morehouse College, but you still have to try to score points. Your team is putting you in position where you can make some big plays on offense. You have to take advantage of it, because who knows how long your defense can contain Jakari Atkinson and his Tuskegee's offense.
Michael Strife back at his 25-yard line to kick away to Antoine Mitchell, who's waiting at the 13. Short kick. Takes a Tuskegee bounce. And that's where the Golden Tigers will take over. 31-yard punt. It will surprise no one that knows anything about HBCU football to see number 1 Tuskegee at the top of the SBN Black College poll. South Carolina State, Grambling, Tennessee State, Prairie View. Boy, a victory here by Morehouse would sure help their stock.
I'll tell you what, I mean, no one really expected Morehouse to win this football game, but when we talked to Coach Rich Freeman, he said, hey, we think that our players on our Morehouse team, we wouldn't trade any of them for those guys on Tuskegee's team, including the quarterback. He liked Christian Sterling in the way he compared with Jakari Atkinson. He felt like his team was poised to compete, and he said, we're going to play extremely well tomorrow, and we may surprise you.
Just his second year, Freeman has a definite plan for bringing this program to a certain level of prominence as never known before. Defensively, his group, tutored by George Copeland, doing a good job, but he told us, if you take a look at him, remember he visited with us, you see the takeaways, that he knows about the great academic tradition at Morehouse. What he wants to do is match that with this football program.
Well, he talks about having that type of spirit and enthusiasm for the football program also, so it can also go 1-1. So you don't just have, hey, we're just a great academic institution, but football is just something we do on the weekends. He wants football to also be a focal point at Morehouse College.
His defensive unit forced a loss on that last play. 2nd and 11 at the 31. That's the freshman Freeman. Jeffrey Cargyle was leading the defensive troops for Morehouse once again. Pickup of 7 yards for the freshman from Homewood, Alabama.
Yeah, English. I mean, you look at this guy, he's one of the big-time receivers, number 8 for Tuskegee, and still coming there competing and throwing blocks, realizing it's going to take a team effort if they're going to win and come back and beat this Morehouse College football team. We're playing some very inspired defense with the 2 turnovers and also a score on defense.
It's 3rd and 2 for Tuskegee. Trailing 14-7, 7:50 remaining in the first quarter. Man in motion is Victor Gutierrez, the tight end. There are markers down. That's a first down, but hang on. Let's see what the official ruling is as we await word from Richard Drake, our referee.
Of course, Morehouse College has been guilty of 4 encroachment penalties already today. We'll see if this is a 5th.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
We think it was number 55, Caleb Miller.
Yeah, and once again, it moves the chains. And that's the thing. It's very crucial when you get a penalty that moves the chains and lets the other team get a first down. You want them to earn every first down they get. You can't give it to them off of offside plays like that.
So that sets up first down for Tuskegee at the 44-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. Freeman, the freshman, once again moving ahead close to the 50-yard line. And at the bottom of that pile is Jeffrey Cargyle. And I think we'll get tired of calling his name. He had some help from Brandon Cunningham.
I'll tell you what, this guy is a high-energy guy, and he won't get tired of hitting people. You may get tired of calling his name, but he's still going to run around there and knock players out. But he's a very tough player from St. Xavier High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's the inspiration leader on this team. Just makes a lot of big plays and is all over the place.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 from the 49-yard line for Tuskegee. Folks, that score is correct. Morehouse leads Tuskegee 14-7 here in Columbus, Georgia. 6:52 remaining before halftime. Out of the shotgun is Atkinson. Shovel pass doesn't really go anywhere. Excellent job by the defensive unit of Morehouse. Wayne Williams got the call, but Brandon Cunningham was right there, number 10.
Yeah, number 10, Brandon Cunningham, and they pulling out all of the stops out of Decatur, Georgia, down in Atlanta. But you run these plays and these gimmick plays and the little shuffle pass, which I really like, but hey, no dice for Tuskegee as Brandon Cunningham and the Morehouse College Tigers are diagnosing every play that Tuskegee seems to run today.
Cunningham 6'2", 220 pounds, loss of 2 thanks to his efforts. And now it's 3rd and 7. Atkinson under pressure again, and he's going down. It's Brandon Cunningham, the first man to get to him. Cargyle arrived a little later.
Yeah, great series by that young man. He makes the big play on 2nd down, and he comes right back on 3rd down with the blitz. Morehouse College doing a great job of dialing up the pressure, and give those coverage guys credit, because when you're bringing 7 and 8 guys in pressure, you have to have some pretty good coverage on the back end for that pressure to get home.
So Chris Kahn comes on the punt. They're coming after it. He gets it away. Tydrick Williams will let it bounce. And Tuskegee will down it there. So Morehouse will take over. And it's on 16-yard line when we return. But defensively, the Maroon Tigers are making life difficult for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
with commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Hello, I'm Robert Michael Franklin, the 10th president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. At Morehouse, we know that intellectual excellence and spiritual wholeness go hand in hand. Over the past 140 years, Morehouse has been committed to challenging, training, and refining young men to become global leaders. It's the Morehouse mission, where leadership, service, and excellence come together.
They can be aviation electricians, healthcare technicians, computer technicians. But no matter which path they choose, they all start right here.
I did all my research, and I can get...
5:34 remaining, and Brandon Cunningham and his teammates at Morehouse are surprising Tuskegee and the HBCU football world, leading it 14-7 here in Columbus. Women's college volleyball continues on ESPNU Sunday night as the Florida A&M Rattlers take on the North Carolina A&T Aggies. Don't miss a serve, set, or spike. Women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday night at 6:30 Eastern. For more information, log on to espnu.com. Morehouse 25 yards total offense, 25 yards in penalties, but they're doing the right thing so far. And Eddie Robinson Jr., you have to be surprised that the Maroon Tigers are the ones that are growling the loudest right now.
Well, the big thing is that defense. I mean, just look at that defense. I mean, they're just doing a great job offensively. 262 yards passing per game, and they're not really getting it done offensively. So at some point, they're going to have to really turn it up because they only have 25 total yards on offense today.
Kristen Sterling under center. A lot of movement by the Tuskegee defensive unit as they try to adjust. Excellent defensive play by Clifton Sanders as he tracks down Cameron Ford before he could ever get going in the backfield.
Yeah, Clifton Sanders shouldn't be a surprise. He came into this game leading Tuskegee in tackles with 33 on the year, a couple tackles for loss. And hey, this Tuskegee team, I tell you what, they play a pretty good brand of defense also. They're going to step up and make these kind of plays. Just a great job of seeing the play, reacting, and then making the play and getting that tackle for loss.
6-yard loss. Out of the shotgun is Sterling, who really hasn't gotten on track throwing the ball. Has a receiver open. That's a first down to Quincy Avery.
Just running the third guy up the middle of the seam, and you can tell he looks wide, and the safeties just don't get over the top. Just a good job of realizing the soft spot in the zone, and Quincy Avery catching the ball when you know you're going to take a big hit.
25-yard pickup. New set of downs for Morehouse. We're getting close to 4.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Along with Eddie Robinson Jr., our entire ESPNU crew, I'm Dwayne Ballin. The 98th renewal of this classic in Columbus. It's Christian Sterling out of the pocket. He drops it off to his receiver. Doesn't get very far before he is stopped by Jason Gates. So not a whole lot going there on that play.
No, but what you're trying to do if you're Morehouse offense, you're just trying to keep Tuskegee's defense off balance. You haven't had a whole lot of success running the football, but you came into this game knowing that you have to have some balance off running and throwing. So you're ahead in the football game. There's no need to throw every down. You just want to try to establish something on the air or on the ground so you can have some continuity going into the second half and the rest of this football game.
Pickup of 4. Out of the shotgun is Sterling. First man in, goes nowhere. Once again, it was Gates.
You just have to think at some time that Morehouse's inability to run the football, whether it hurts them this game or throughout the year, they're going to have to establish a running game. And they're only averaging 46 yards per game, which is last in the SIAC naturally. So you're going to have to establish some type of running game, whether it's running back by committee, the quarterback or something, because you can't just be a one-dimensional football team.
Well, in the backfield out of the shotgun is Rodriguez along with Sterling. But Sterling has 4 receivers, and he's looking long. Has a man upfield. Has it. Big pickup. James Stedman, who was the most dangerous receiver in the conference, comes up big for the Maroon Tigers.
Well, I guess my answer to that question would be, as far as a running game, when you have a guy who can throw it like this, like Sterling can, and also you have a big play receiver in Stedman, hey, just pass it every play. I mean, why even try to run the football? But just a great throw and catch, working the sideline and really putting Tuskegee once again in the red zone and in scoring position.
41-yard pickup. The ball is now at the 20-yard line of Tuskegee. Rodriguez trying to get something around the right side. Is corralled out of bounds by Clifton Sanders. Rodriguez, not a very big man at all. 5'8", 160, as you mentioned, a native of Houston, Kempner High School, but he knows how to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually the leading rusher for this Morehouse College team. I mean, this is a guy who's a kick returner, punt returner, wide receiver, but they also put him in the backfield and run him on little quick plays, little gadget plays, and just use his speed to outrun the defense.
Now 2nd and 5 at the 15. A shield in motion. It's Rodriguez. Sterling keeps it. This is not his forte, and you see why.
Well, I would still rather see Sterling keep that ball, because I thought he was going to give it to Rodriguez running in the middle of that Tuskegee defense. I mean, keep in mind, this guy's only 5'8", 160 pounds. So they're just trying to establish a couple of running plays that can work and be effective. You see guys like Ramon Harewood and Darius Raines, Joseph Williams, that big offensive line. These guys are going to have to start gelling together and move some people out the way to establish some type of running game for Morehouse College. Or you just throw it every play and score touchdowns that way.
3rd and 3 from the 14. Morehouse leading 14-7, looking for more. Sterling. There may be a flag. It's intercepted. There was no flag, and we thought there was some contact, at least I did. It was picked off by Justin Hanna, so Tuskegee dodges a major bullet in the closing moments of the second quarter.
Yeah, but it definitely seemed like there was a possibility of a flag on that play. Of course, it was a no call by the referee, so you have to play it as stand. But a good job by the defender, Justin Hanna, making the interception. The receiver just falls. He was trying to run the corner route. Justin Hanna came off of his receiver very alertly and made the interception for Tuskegee Golden Lions.
So Denario Robisky didn't help him a little bit?
He helped
him
to
the ground?
Yeah, he helped him when he fell, but I guess they just said it was incidental contact.
Well, for Hanna, he comes up with a big interception that Tuskegee needed. Now the Golden Tigers start on the 5-yard line, 95 yards away from a score, and they keep it on the ground. Pick up maybe 1.
And after Jakari Atkinson threw that second interception, it seems like Tuskegee has been more content on running the football. Maybe just to give him a chance to settle down the rest of the second half, get into the locker room, talk things over with the coaches, and get him going again in the third quarter.
Now Forney, who carried the ball, has just limped off. Coming in his stead is Keon Davis, a junior running back. If they try to run it, they certainly need Forney on the field. Atkinson He's going to keep it. And he'll get out of bounds where he's escorted by Johnny Eubanks. 11-yard pickup.
Keep in mind last week against Alabama A&M, Jakari Atkinson only had 72 yards passing, but he did have 147 yards rushing because he can make those type of moves and make people miss. So this may be a football game where Tuskegee is going to be forced to run more option plays, more quarterback draws, and let Atkinson use his feet a little bit more than he's going to use his arm the rest of this evening.
He and the Golden Tigers certainly have to get things going. There's been a warning. The warning was given to Randall Ward of Morehouse, #1, and there is a player down on the field. That is Earl Thomas, the linebacker, who's had a very good game to this point from Houston, Texas, for Morehouse, Hightower High School. And this is what you don't want to see if you're George Copeland, the defensive coordinator for Morehouse. This unit has been playing so well together.
Yeah, they have. Game. I mean, who would have thought they could come in here and not so much stop Tuskegee's offense from scoring, which is a big surprise, but also get the interception. Keep in mind that they only had 5 turnovers all year. They were -9 in the turnover margin going into this football game. So for that defense to get 2 turnovers and return 1 for a score, I mean, that's very, very big, especially against this Tuskegee's offense.
It's good to see Thomas up and running under his own power, a little bit labored.
If you're Morehouse, you can't relax. You see a minute, 2 seconds left in the football game, and you have them backed up on their own 12-yard line. But trust me, Mr. Atkinson and his Tuskegee offense, Jason English, Antoine Mitchell, they can score from anywhere in the football field. And the last thing you want to do is give up a cheap score when you have them backed up at the end of the second quarter.
Atkinson is very dangerous in this situation. You're right. 1st and 10, and he's looking to throw, and he's looking long. Has Mitchell. That's a first down. Cargill was there defensively along with Ward, but the chains move, and there are 53 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, lots of time for Tuskegee to run a 2-minute offense. They still have some time out, so Morehouse is going to have to play defense. You can't expect the clock to save you in this situation. You have to step up and make some plays like you've been doing all day.
There are 3 very dangerous receivers clad in gold right now. And Atkinson, despite his problems earlier, can still get it done. Has a man open.
Fumble on the play.
Fumble. Lessa had it. And now it's Eubanks. So that's Morehouse's ball.
Wow. And another turnover recovered by Johnny Eubanks. He already had 1 interception today. Look at the big plays by this Morehouse College defense that they're making on Tuskegee today.
Gabriel Harper, #4, is the man that delivered the blow that freed the ball.
Yeah, great read by the quarterback, but here just a great hit. And Johnny Eubanks, man, he's Johnny on the spot today. I mean, yeah, I think that's the fumble. He had it with 2 feet down. He tried to make a football move, and once the ball is on the ground, Johnny Eubanks once again with the great return, and this time he doesn't throw the ball in the air and get that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. So Morehouse College offense is in position to try to put more points on the board at the end of this half.
Eubanks now has 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. So with 33 seconds remaining, Morehouse College back on the field at the 20-yard line of Tuskegee. Sterling out of the shotgun. They're looking for more. He avoids pressure. Looking downfield, throws it into the end zone, very nearly interception. Not a good decision.
Has to make a better decision. He did a great job of getting out of the pocket. He sees the pressure, you roll out, hey, no one's there. You can still maybe take off of this, throw this thing out of bounds, but you can't throw it up in the air with 4 or 5 defenders in the area. I know coach is like, what are you doing?
Rich Freeman looking on. That's not what he wants to see in the way of decision-making from his sophomore quarterback.
Well, Micah Strife is a very good field goal kicker. You can play for the field goal in this situation if you're Morehouse.
Tuskegee has 3 turnovers, Morehouse 2 so far. Sterling under pressure again. This time he goes down. Jarvis Devon with the sack. That's his 7th sack, and it leads the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. From Katy, Texas, he had 12 sacks last year to lead. It was all SIAC, and this year, like you said, he had 6 coming to this game, and that's 7. Also 1 interception. Big play guy, Jarvis Devon, making a play when Tuskegee's defense really needed one.
One way to combat a pocket passer is put pressure on him and get to him.
Yeah, but Christian Sterling, you have to realize the situation. Get the ball out of your hand. There's 30 seconds left in the half. You look downfield, you look, hey, if no one's open, get rid of it. But give credit for Jarvis Devon not only beating this man, but able to make the play and get the quarterback down on the ground.
11-yard loss. That man, Willie Slater Jr., the head coach of Tuskegee, not particularly pleased. His Golden Tigers, ranked #1 among HBCUs in the country, is trailing 14-7. This is unfamiliar territory for him.
Well, you know, we asked him that question during this week. Hey, what do you tell your team? I mean, you guys have never been behind. You win all the time. I mean, you have a 21-game unbeaten streak. He said, well, this week I gave him a speech about pride. So it's like you don't have a lot of things to correct, but now he really has to give a good speech in halftime, because they have to come out and play some football the way they've been playing the rest of the year, because they're behind, maybe even more than one touchdown. So we'll see if he can't rally the troops at the half to try to come back and preserve that big winning streak that they're on.
3rd and 26 for Morehouse. Ball on the 33-yard line. Maryland gets it away, has a receiver in and out of the hands of Quincy Avery. Cedric Ivory there defensively for Tuskegee.
Great job by Tuskegee's defense coming on the field after that turnover. They were on the 20-yard line, 21-yard line to start this drive with 30 seconds left in the half. You're down by 7. You could have given up more points. Did a great job of stopping Morehouse's offense.
49-yard attempt by Micah Strife. He is 2 for 2 this season between the 40 and 49 yards markers. So this is within his range. Lowe did not get there. Not a very good set and kick. So 3 seconds remain before halftime, but Morehouse continues to lead. Rich Freeman has to be very pleased, although he could have more points than just the 14.
Yeah, and you have to, if you're Rich Freeman, you have to be concerned because you're blowing opportunities. Here you send your kicker Micah Strife out for a 49-yard kick, but if you don't take the sack, it would have been like a 39-yard kick. So maybe he's a little upset with the hold, but they made it a whole lot harder than what it could have been.
It was not the best hold. You could tell from the very beginning. So Tuskegee will probably take a knee, go into the locker room, and try to regroup and figure out exactly where it is, because the Golden Tigers, after 2 quarters of play, find themselves in rare territory, trailing 14-7 to Morehouse in the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. Jakari Atkinson has some work to do. Grab yourself something to eat. We're going to strike up the band when we return to halftime here in Columbus, Georgia.
From
running back on the field, I'm looking for daylight and daylight. What I do, cause I do what I do, like I'm doing it for TV. You need me, like the apple that the doctor prescribed. Transform like more than meets the eye. Mr. Player of the year, head on collision, make a player disappear. And when it's game time, I hold no.
Morehouse surprising the HBCU football world. Tuskegee trailing it 14-7 here in Columbus, Georgia, along with Eddie Robinson Jr., our entire ESPNU crew. I'm Dwayne Ballin. We're just about ready to start the 3rd quarter, but as we look back over the first 2 quarters, partner, the storyline is Morehouse in defense.
Yeah, absolutely, that Morehouse defense, and they've been able to get to Jakari Atkinson here. You see Randall Ward with the pick 6. He gets the interception, takes it back for the touchdown, the most exciting play in football, if you ask me, but they're not done. I mean, this Morehouse College defense has been all over the place. Here they see going up, you have my man number 7, Johnny Eubanks. He gets the interception, takes out the end zone for the big return. 2 interceptions today, and also a fumble recovery, the big hit by number 4, Gabriel Harper. And once again, Johnny on the spot, Mr. Eubanks, he scoops it up, and he's returning. And once again, Morehouse is in business. They're up 14-7 at the half. You look at the quarterback comparison, Atkinson and Sterling, Neither one has had a great day. They have 1 touchdown, but also the 2 interceptions. The yards are just about even. You think Atkinson can come out in his second half and play like he usually does play with the big runs and also the long passes. And Sterling, this guy has the Morehouse offense #1 in passing in the SIAC. Can those guys come out in the second half and play better, or are the 2 defenses just going to dominate the rest of the afternoon?
Let's remind everyone of what exactly is on the line here. Tuskegee, a 21-game winning streak, longest active streak in the country. 17 different teams they've beaten, 4 twice. The margin of victory hasn't even really been close. That last loss back in October of '06. So there is a lot that these Golden Tigers have riding on these next 2 quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you just take a look at Jakari Atkinson, the starting quarterback, he's 17-0 as a starter. He's never gotten under center as Tuskegee's quarterback and walked off the field with an L on his win-loss column. So that thing is really big for Tuskegee and their whole offense and their whole team. So we'll see how they respond being down 14-7 at the half.
Now, if you're that man, Rich Freeman, the head coach of Morehouse, what did you just say in the locker room? Because you have the advantage over the big Tiger.
Well, I think what you have to say is the next 5 minutes, the opening stanza of this third quarter is really going to tell the tale of how this game progresses. We'll get the football first. Let's go down the field, establish a running game, get some big plays in the passing game, and put more points on the board. You have to play like the game is 0-0 because this Tuskegee offense is very dangerous and they can score a lot of points in a very short period of time.
And Willie Slater Jr., what did he say?
Well, after he knocked over the Gatorade bottle and pushed down the trainer, he got everyone up and said, hey, we still have a 21-game unbeaten streak. And until someone beats us, we're the SIAC champ. Let's just go out there and play like we're the champ.
Velez's kickoff is coming. Awaiting it are 18, Jamar Rodriguez, and #1, Randall Ward. It's Rodriguez who fields it at the 15-yard line, and he is quickly knocked down. Very good defensive play. Brandon Anderson was there for the stop. So far on this Saturday, there have been some upsets. Texas, #5, knocks off Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout. Toledo knocking off Michigan at the Big House. And here where we are, the #1 HBCU team in the country for the better part of 2 years is trailing by 7 at halftime.
We'll see if Morehouse can close the deal. There's a lot more football to play. And this Tuskegee offense, can you really keep them quiet with 7 points for a whole nother half? I don't think so.
So Morehouse begins the second half. 1st and 10, and it's on 23-yard line. Kristen Sterling, the transfer from Texas Tech, is the quarterback. They begin on the ground and go nowhere. Excellent reaction by Jonathan Hall, the junior linebacker from Mobile, with the play to stop any sort of run.
Yeah, Morehouse came into this football game with very little in the run game department, but they're going to be patient. They're going to try to be persistent and force this run game down Tuskegee's defense's throat, but I don't know if they can work it out. So they're still going to have to mix in some good passes, but you also have to run the football just to let them know you're going to try.
Sterling with 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. McFadden, Hingie, Stedman. Any one of those 3 are capable of breaking it. Out of the shotgun on 2nd and 9. He was looking for Stedman, and that might very well be offensive interference.
Yeah,
Derek Douglas was there defensively for Tuskegee.
Right, that call can go either way. It's just a judgment by the referee because, I mean, both guys are pushing back and forth. We'll just have to wait and see what he saw from his vantage point on the field.
Our referee is Richard Drake, and the call is against Douglas. What do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't have called anything. I would have just called that as 2 guys playing football and just let them go out there and play because the defender for Tuskegee.
Interference, defense, automatic, 1st down.
I mean, Derek Douglas has a right to that football just like the wide receiver does. And to me, he just was holding his position and trying to make the interception.
So that gives Morehouse a 1st down, and it's on 39-yard line as we open up the third quarter here in Columbus. Low snap once again. That's happened a few times. Quick slant. That didn't do too much. He was going to Teron McFadden there. The ball was loose, and it's Tuskegee's ball. Big turnover for the Golden Tigers.
Well, Morehouse is trying to say that the knee is down, and have they made a call yet?
Jonathan Hall with the recovery.
Yeah, he takes a big hit, and the ball is definitely out. And it looked like Jonathan Hall was the same man who provided the hit and also recovered the fumble. I think he just ran out of the pot. Then the coach is getting excited on the sideline.
Defensive coordinator Reginald Ruffin pretty happy. So that's just what Tuskegee needed to open up this half.
Yeah, you have to get that offense back on the field. Now, we'll see if they have some conservative play calls for Jakari Atkinson or if they just open it up and let him take charge.
Atkinson at his own 45-yard line, trying to run, but he's quickly corralled.
Yeah, it looked like big number 56, Mario Lane, and this is a guy who transferred from Alabama State and is now at Morehouse College. Good defensive play. Good defensive play by Morehouse, stepping up and making plays. And this guy is 6'6", 280 pounds. He was a guy who started as a freshman at Alabama State, sat out of school a year and a half, and then transferred to Morehouse, and now it's playing well for the Morehouse College Tigers.
You say transferred from Alabama State with a bit of woundedness in your voice. Alabama State alum. Atkinson, the pitch. That's Forney. He gets out over the 40-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. Derek Scott, one of the defenders.
When you talk about transfers, we talked to Coach Rich Freeman because you see a lot of Division II and FCS schools that get a lot of transfers from the bigger school. He says he only needs around 5 to 10 transfers a year. He really wants to build this program through recruiting that Atlanta area. This is a guy who went to Krim High School, is a local guy from Atlanta, so he feels like he can really recruit local guys in that Georgia and Alabama area to really get this Morehouse College program turned around.
That 6-yard pickup sets up 3rd down and 4 at the 39-yard line. Atkinson looking to the air. He and his receiver did not communicate. Matter of fact, the receiver had not even made the turn when he threw the ball.
And I think the timing has just been off with this passing game. You can tell the ball is already in the air, and you can see Antoine Mitchell is still running a deeper route. So obviously some miscommunication between the receivers and the quarterback, and Coach Slater doesn't like it.
Quite unhappy. Chris Kahn on the punt. Away to Tydrick Williams. Well, the ball sails out of bounds. Morehouse ball when we return to Columbus, Georgia. The Maroon Tigers are on top. Morehouse leading 14-7, and Willie Slater not happy.
Yeah, we talked about him screaming and yelling. He's not that type of guy, but he said if a player doesn't hustle or if it's a selfish player, it'll make him scream and yell. But if you're down 14-7, it'll make you yell also.
ESPNU's live coverage of women's college soccer begins Sunday afternoon with a Big East showdown as the Connecticut Huskies face the West Virginia Mountaineers. Women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday at 2 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. So if you're the Golden Tigers right now, Willie Slater, you had the defensive series you wanted, but on offense you get nothing. Much, even more, worse, there's miscommunication between your seniors.
Yeah, and that's something that you can't have because Antoine Mitchell, Jakari Atkinson, that's your main 2 guys. You would think after a couple years of playing together, the big things they've done, they should always be on the same page.
1st and 10 from Morehouse from its own 16-yard line, opening moments of the 3rd quarter. That's Rodriguez, and he doesn't get very far.
I don't know if I would run the little guy into the meat of that Tuskegee defense. I mean, Tuskegee has been very good on defense the last couple of years. They get overshadowed because of all of the great things they do offensively, but they have some very good players on that defensive unit. Number 29, Danny Anderson. Look here, 2.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, some big-time players over there.
Loss of 1. Now 2nd and 11 from the 15. Morehouse, despite being on top, really has not been impressive offensively here. Sterling capable of getting it going through the air. Throws into traffic. And it was intended for Tewan McFadden, but the closest receiver that had his hands on it was Derek Douglas, number 2. in gold.
Yeah, Derek Douglas, he already has 1 interception today, and if you throw up some balls like this, he'll definitely get number 2. I mean, Tuskegee just nowhere for Christian Sterling to fit that football. So you just really have to pull it down and go somewhere else. But look at the total yards. Tuskegee 230 to 87, but you're still losing by 7 points, which is all that matters at the end of the day.
We said it earlier, quantitative versus qualitative. 3rd down for Morehouse. Keep it on the ground. Marcus Fly.
Yeah, that was Cedric Ivory with the big hit. And the only thing I can think that flag was for hitting the guy too hard, because he really popped him.
He did nail him. Holding against Morehouse.
Number 64 of the offense. The penalty decline. 4th down.
That's on the freshman Darius Range. You remember plays like this? Listen. Boy, that's the way Eddie Robinson Jr. used to greet running backs.
I used to sure try. They always just tell me you're either going to be the bug or the windshield. And that one, Cedric Ivory was definitely the windshield, because he provided the hit in that play.
Micah Strife on to punt. Back to receive is Antoine Mitchell. Short punt. Ball's out of bounds. So Tuskegee will get the ball back. And it's on territory. Still trailing by 7 here in Columbus, Georgia. They're getting physical.
71. That's 1-800-270-4171. Call now.
The story, Tuskegee Airmen, America's first black pilots. The great story of this crew, World War II. They were trained at Tuskegee University. General Chappie James, one of those involved. You see some notable alum, Ralph Ellison, the author of Invisible Man. There's General James, Dr. Betty Shabazz, the educator, Lionel Richie, Tom Joyner, the talk show host, radio. George Washington Carver did not attend Tuskegee, but he is synonymous with the university because Mr. Washington did a lot of his great scientific work while employed at that university. And of course, they're the Tuskegee Airmen. You know who else went to Tuskegee? Don Clendenin, the MVP of the '69 World Series.
Yeah, the New York Mets. I remember that series.
So Tuskegee has the ball, still trailing 7. Atkinson, time to throw, has a man wide open. Big pickup.
Looked like Morehouse College must have had a blown coverage. There's no way you can leave receivers that wide open, but this Tuskegee offense, man, they just keep attacking. They don't care if you've been playing them well, if you scored on defense. We're going to just keep putting the ball up in the air and try to make big plays. You saw Randall Ward thinking he had safety help, but no one was there. So you get a big completion by Tuskegee, and now they're in business. Try to put some points on the scoreboard.
Wayne Williams on the receiving end of that 37-yard pickup. Atkinson going for more. Overthrows his man in the end zone. He was looking for Jason English. Defensively there was Johnny Eubanks. Don't think that ball was catchable.
Yeah, we haven't talked enough about Johnny Eubanks. Man, this guy can really play football. He was all SIAC in 2005. Here, just blanket coverage on Jason English. Already has the interception and the fumble recovery today. This guy can really match up one-on-one coverage with all of the guys from Tuskegee, and it allows them to put pressure from the guys up front because they know they have guys in the secondary who can cover and hold on to one-on-one coverage with Tuskegee's wide receivers.
Tuskegee really needs to get on track. The Golden Tigers, that 21-game winning streak is very much on the line here against Morehouse. Morehouse defensive unit will not allow much to get going on the ground. Paisley tried to move forward, but boy, what a job again for the most part. George Copeland, the defensive coordinator, what a job and what a game he's called so far today for Morehouse.
You know what, he really talked about keeping Atkinson in the pocket. When you have a guy that's so dangerous running the football, you want to keep him contained, keep him between the tackles so at least you know where he's at, and your coverage guys can maintain their coverage responsibility. Here you see big number 73, Keith Butler, limping off the field. So whenever you have a new offensive lineman coming into the game, you have to be careful because Morehouse has been blitzing so much. Will they be able to pick up the blitz with the new guy in the protection?
3rd and 12. Atkinson looking to throw. Blitz is on. He's flushed out. He's going to run. Look out. 6 points. Jakari Atkinson. Bring it back. They're saying he stepped out of bounds. He gets 6 points for style, though, doesn't he?
Man, the guy looks like Usain Bolt going down the sideline. I mean, he's a very speedy guy, but look what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep him in the pocket. But look at one guy, and that's number 29, Jeffrey Cargill. If he could have just kept contained on his rush and make him run back to everyone else, they could have kept him contained. But see, look up top. When you go inside, now you let the quarterback get outside the pocket. Once you lose contain on a guy like Jakari Atkinson, no one else is going to catch him as he moves down the sideline. You have to pass rush him and keep contained and make him stay between the tackles.
A 10-yard pickup nonetheless gives the Golden Tigers another first down against the Maroon Tigers. 9:73 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And Tuskegee keeps it on the ground as they try to bull forward. Pascal's getting the ball much more than he has before. Number 25 is a sophomore, 5'9", 191 pounds.
At right guard.
Tuskegee, one of the best in the SIAC in the red zone, scoring 75% of the time once they get inside the 20-yard line.
First and goal from the 6. Fortney tried to get around. There is a marker down on the field. Defensively there was Johnny Eubanks.
They have a call on number 5, Derek Scott, with that horse collar rule.
Call is against Morehouse.
Personal foul. Defense. Half the distance. First down.
You can see Derek Scott's coming here, and yeah, he uses the old Roy Williams horse collar, but
bring up 6 more for Tuskegee. Paisley gets into the end zone.
Good drive by Tuskegee. They respond. Down 14-13. You knew at some point this big offense would get it going. And Jakari Atkinson with that big run, once he broke contain, put him inside the red zone. Now they're able to finish it off with some tough running plays to try to tie this football game.
Dimitri Pelez comes on for the extra point to tie it up. And he caps a 7-play, 66-yard drive with the extra point. And we are tied in Columbus, 7-7. Mr. Paisley. That's just power, straight ahead. His offensive line moved their defensive line, and that's how you get it done. So Tuskegee's Golden Tigers have a reason to dance. Took 2 minutes and 39 seconds to complete that drive. And now do we have a new ball game, Eddie Robinson Jr.?
Well, you never felt like Tuskegee was out of this football game. But this big play offense, they always have the ability to score and get back in the football game. But if you're Morehouse College, at some point, your offense has to step up and make some plays. They've been surviving off of defense, making big plays, even scoring on defense with the interception return. Now you're going to have to do something in the pass game with Christian Sterling. They've been patient trying to run the football, but I think you're going to have to go to the air if you want to try to put points on the board against this Tuskegee's defense.
Jamar Rodriguez and Tydrick Williams are back to receive the kick. So now we have to see if the Maroon Tigers can get their offensive act together, something they really haven't had for the balance of this game to this point. Rodriguez will field the kickoff at the 15. He is a jet. Gets around to the 30-yard line where he's brought down by David Newman. Log on to your online source for all things college sports, ESPNU.com. This online service will be a gateway to all sports content from ESPN, combining the latest news with an expanded collection of exclusive material, scores, columns, video, and audio highlights, podcasts, live streaming games, and much more. Log on to ESPNU.com today. And now, ESPNU is available in high definition. ESPNU HD, the big picture in college sports. So now it's Morehouse's turn. Out of the shotgun is Sterling. He has a receiver who gets nowhere thanks to the work of Justin Hanna. To Juan McFadden on the reception, but excellent coverage by McFadden.
Yeah, those cornerbacks for Tuskegee, I mean, they've been lights out all day long. They haven't missed any tackles on the edges. You have the #1 and the #2 receiver in the SIAC from Morehouse College. And Tuskegee's defense has been going toe-to-toe with those guys and haven't given up many big plays.
2nd and 6 now for Morehouse. We're deadlocked. Sterling just overthrew Ashil Hinji. Miscommunication. Sterling's numbers not overwhelming so far today, as we've noted and you've seen. It's been the special teams and the defensive unit that have really set up those two scores.
Yeah, absolutely, but they're going to have to do something on offense sooner or later. I mean, you know this Tuskegee offense is going to get it in gear and start scoring. So if you're Morehouse, you got to put some points on the board and take some chances throwing the ball down the field.
3rd down conversions for Morehouse, just 2 of 8. They have 6 to go to get a 1st down. Sterling under pressure, goes down. Ball is loose, or is it? They are calling it an incomplete pass. But excellent pressure by Brandon Howard, who got to Sterling and brought him down.
Yeah, very fortunate, but look at the big guy just coming up here, and he was able to get the ball out of his hand and get the sack. Actually ruled the incomplete pass, which is a big break from Morehouse because they don't lose the yardage on the play. Great pass rush by Brandon Howard.
Wayne Williams is now back to receive the punt from Micah Strife. Williams backing up to about his 26-yard line. So the Tuskegee Golden Tigers defensive unit does the job. Williams grabs it, starts upfield, gets away from 2 players before he is knocked out of bounds. Ty Huff knocking him out of bounds. So the Golden Tigers with an opportunity to regain control. What's cooking? We'll let you know when we get back.
Hello, I'm Robert Michael Franklin, the 10th president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. At Morehouse, we know that intellectual excellence and spiritual wholeness go hand in hand.
We're tied at 14 here in Columbus, Georgia, the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. Morehouse has produced his fair share of notable alums. The most notable, obviously, the man at the very top, the great Martin Luther King Jr. When you look at that list, and I have to apologize because I gave Don Clendenin over to Tuskegee, and it was actually Morehouse. But Samuel L. Jackson, Dr. David Satcher, Maynard Jackson, Spike Lee, Edwin Moses, quite a list of alum for Morehouse. They say a Morehouse man is a distinctive entity.
Yeah, a lot of pride on that campus. I mean, they've done a lot of great things in the community and around across the country.
Shakari Atkinson and that offensive unit are back on the field for Tuskegee, but he's going to get away from 94, and he's still on his feet. He was in the grasp of Jamal James. How he ever got away is beyond me.
I think the guy has on an invisible tearaway jersey because somehow when he's in the grasp, he does a great job of just almost using the Tai Chi principle, just going with the momentum of the defender and just lets you spin him around, and then bam, now he's free again and he's ready to do more damage.
How in the world did he do that? Jakari Atkinson, the reigning SIAC Offensive Player of the Year, preseason All-America. He and his teammates trailed 14-7 at halftime. As you know, a 21-game win streak for them on the line. And they've tied it. And are they on their way now to taking control? Out of the shotgun, Atkinson. Well, he was looking in the general direction of Antoine Mitchell, but defensively, Tawan McFadden was there for Morehouse and had the closest shot at the ball.
Yeah, in this Tuskegee passing game, I've seen them play on numerous occasions, also once earlier this year. They're just really not in sync. I mean, he's hitting some receivers who are wide open because of some of the mistakes in the Morehouse College secondary, but you don't really see the good timing routes, the good synchronization between wide receiver and quarterback that you would expect from a team that puts up so many points and has been playing so well over a period of time.
And what we have seen is them rely on the legs of Jakari Atkinson time and time again. Here comes another blitz, pressure. This time he goes down. Darren Jackson, the junior from Powder Springs, Georgia, gets to it.
I'll tell you what, when you get a sack on Jakari Atkinson, you get an opportunity to celebrate because this guy is hard to sack. So it was just a great job of bringing the pressure once more by defensive coordinator George Copeland. Guys are coming up the middle, and finally someone is able to get home to pay dirt for number 48, Darren Jackson, on the sack.
So Khan kicks away to Williams, who will let it bounce out to the 18-yard line. Women's college volleyball continues on ESPNU Sunday night as the Florida A&M Rattlers take on the North Carolina A&T Aggies. Don't miss a serve, set, or spike. Women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday night at 6:30 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Get to see the ladies in their volleyball action. Willie Slater Jr. is not particularly pleased with the way things have gone so far for his Golden Tigers. They're now on defense. Game's tied at 14 here. 98th renewal of this classic between Tuskegee and Morehouse. Christian Sterling with time to throw. Flushed out. He goes down. There is a marker down. He was knocked down to the ground by Brandon Anderson, but let's hang on and see what happens. And Sterling, unlike Atkinson, is not really a scrambler. He's a pocket passer, as we've noted, and easier to get to him.
See what the call is first.
Number 77 of the offense. The penalty decline.
So that's on Romaine Harwood, but it's declined, so the 14-yard loss stands.
Yeah, and Ramon Harwood, I mean, this is a guy who's from Barbados. And actually, I talked with him at practice yesterday. He played rugby back on the island of Barbados and was one of those guys who was in charge of moving the scrum, you know, which was kind of interesting to me. But he's a big guy and more adept to run blocking, so he gets caught with a holding call in that play.
Ball at the 5-yard line. It's 2nd and 24. Keep it on the ground. Man has room up the middle. That's Pernez Pickney, the junior fullback from Atlanta, with a big pickup off the middle. And when we spoke to Rich Freeman earlier in the week, he said they wanted him to run the ball this week.
Yeah, and look at the big guy. I mean, number 77, Ramon Harwood. I mean, he just moves this guy out of the way. And like I said, he told me his job was to push the scrum. So he was the guy in there in the rugby team, and he just was a guy that just used to move people. So you get a big guy like that, 330 pounds, let him run block sometime. He doesn't want to have to kick shuffle and chase those little 230-pound pesky guys.
15-yard pickup leads to a first down. Sterling going to the air, and that ball is not catchable. Justin Hanna was there defensively. He was looking for Tawan McFadden, but it wasn't even close to being catchable. So that brings on the punting unit.
Yeah, and after that touchdown drive by Tuskegee, it's pretty much been punting going back and forth between the two offenses. And I think we really have to step up and give the defenses for Tuskegee and Morehouse College some credit, because both of these guys have really showed up and have turned this into somewhat of a defensive struggle when you have two very high-powered offenses.
Wayne Williams back at his own 38-yard line awaiting Micah Strice's punt. Williams will let it bounce, very nearly touched it.
And that's a big break for Morehouse, because if he could have caught that ball on the line drive, I think he may have scored. Whenever you have those line drive punts and you can catch it clean, big advantage for the return guy. And he's on his way to the end zone. Look at the graphic here. You have talked about the winningest HBCU schools. Tuskegee at 606 wins and counting with this unbeaten streak.
And you know what shocks the initial viewer when you see that list right off the bat? Where is Grambling? It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, because Coach Eddie Robinson, which of course is no relation to me, he has over 300 wins himself. So you figure, can somebody else from Grambling get the other 200 wins and put them over the 500 mark? But I don't think they've been playing football for as long as Tuskegee and some of those other programs have.
We'll have FAMU and Southern next week. The 54-yard punt by Micah Strice sets up Tuskegee. Tony Forney gets around the right side, but he is stopped by DeJuan Holmes.
Yeah, good job by number 96, DeJuan Holmes, of running to the football. 240-pound senior out of Ellenwood, Georgia, and Tuskegee. I mean, they've been somewhat effective in the running game. Not dominating with the running game, but has been doing just enough to take some pressure off of quarterback Jakari Atkinson, because he hasn't had a great day throwing the football.
Pickup of 7 by Forney. 2nd and 3. You could throw here. They keep it on the ground. Doesn't really go anywhere. Forney tackled by Brandon Cunningham. 1-yard pickup. Jakari Atkinson has not been Jakari Atkinson in this game so far.
Well, really the last couple of weeks he's been struggling somewhat passing the football. Last week he only threw for 74 yards and ran for 100 and something yards, but even today not having the real big passing numbers we expect from him.
Atkinson elects to keep it, spins his way down for a few before he finds himself in the waiting arms of Earl Thomas. He did get enough for the first down, so that moves the chains. His numbers today.
Yeah, 162 yards, the touchdown, but the 2 interceptions are the big thing that he would like to have back. Of course, one of those was in the red zone, and another one was returned for a touchdown. So he hasn't been very, very sharp today, but still, he's a guy who can really light the scoreboard up and take over this game at any time.
4-yard pickup led to first down. Atkinson once again eludes defenders. How he got away is beyond me. Has Mitchell wide open. That's 6 big points for the Golden Tigers.
And we just talked about it. We just talked about Jakari Atkinson, how you can take an ugly day where he's not having a pure passing day, but just do something heroic and just make a very big play. I mean, here this is all Jakari Atkinson. You have 2 or 3 people that swipe at him. They get a chance to sack him, and he just makes people miss. And then the receivers know that he's going to uncover, and he throws it deep to his main guy, Antoine Mitchell, who once again puts a big play on the board for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers and gives them the lead today.
That's a 62-yard strike, and Atkinson probably feels a heck of a lot better right now. And there is a Morehouse player who's down on the field, one of the defenders who was going after Atkinson is being tended to by their staff. But boy, Atkinson came up big just when we were wondering where the magic was.
Oh, the magic is still there. I mean, you can't relax on a guy like this, and they wanted to keep him in the pocket. But look at Johnny Eubanks. I'm going to tell you what happens. When you see a guy who you think is going to get sacked, you take your eyes off of your coverage guy and you start looking in the backfield. And that's real dangerous because then you get uncovered. Now we have a man down for Morehouse College.
Mario Lane.
Number 56, Mario Lane, and he's a force. So hopefully he'll be okay. But look at the scoring drive. Only 4 plays, 74 yards, 62-yard touchdown catch. That's how this Tuskegee offense is built, to make the big plays, because you have a guy like Jakari Atkinson who keeps every play alive.
And he's very good at baiting defensive backs.
Yeah, because the thing about him, he can run. He's second in the SIAC in rushing, but at the same time, he still looks downfield. So when he gets out of trouble, he looks downfield and he tries to throw the pass for the deep ball. He goes for the home run ball first before he just takes off and run. A lot of young quarterbacks, as soon as they get out of pressure, they start running for the 10-yard gain instead of looking downfield for the 62-yard touchdown.
And the difference between he and there's Eubanks, who's one of the players that he baited on some of those plays, a defensive back from Morehouse. What Atkinson does, and you mentioned this earlier when we were talking off camera, remember, he's a leader, he's an upperclassman, he's been there. He knows what he needs to do to get things right.
Yeah, he really does. And we talked with Coach Slater. He said the guy doesn't need a whole lot of motivation. He's his only worst critic. He said when he makes a bad play, he goes to the sideline and he already corrects it himself, and he knows what he has to do to turn things around. So Slater says he doesn't really have to fuss or scream at him. He just gives him a look, and Atkinson already knows, hey, I need to pick it up.
They're still tending to Mario Lane, number 56. Take a look at here. You see him highlighted.
Yeah, it looked like his own guy rolled into him, and that's always tough when you're pass rushing because all of your extremities are exposed. And Mario Lane is a very good player. I knew this kid since he was a freshman at Alabama State and started quite a bit his freshman year there before transferring to Morehouse. So we really hope that he's okay. And this is a guy that has aspirations of trying to play at the next level. 6'6", 280-pound kid who's a very good football player. He's playing defensive tackle and has been playing well for Morehouse last year and this year.
Going off the field under his own power, but he is in pain. There is discomfort. We're in Columbus, Georgia for the 98th renewal of the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic at Memorial Stadium. The Golden Tigers and Maroon Tigers. Rich Freeman, you see him on the sideline there. His underdog Morehouse Tigers had the lead at halftime, 14-7, but Tuskegee, ranked #1 among HBCUs, has regained the lead behind all-star quarterback Jakari Atkinson, who hooked up for a 62-yard strike with Antoine Mitchell. Now, the subsequent extra point attempt. Pelez is on to make it 21 points for Tuskegee. The extra point is good, and the Golden Tigers now have the lead. 2:11 remaining in the third quarter. Take a look at the Division II top 10. Grand Valley's #1. Minnesota Duluth #9. Would you like to see Tuskegee with an opportunity? They're number 11, but they don't get a chance to play in the playoffs because of their commitments to the postseason bowl.
You know, we asked Coach Willie Slater that same question because they're so good in the regular season, but of course if they win their conference, they go to the Pioneer Bowl. And he said that's something that he had to accept when he took that job at Tuskegee, that the steering committee told him, hey, we're committed to playing that Turkey Day Classic against Alabama State, which is a big money maker, and also they're committed to going to the Pioneer Bowl. So it's something that, you know, as a coach, you can tell he would like to compete in the playoffs, but he realizes from a financial standpoint and the historical commitment that they have to that Turkey Day Classic that Tuskegee is forced to miss the playoffs, which is unfortunate, but it's one of those things you have to do from a financial standpoint.
I'm sorry, partner. I think you got to let a team like this get in the playoffs. You have to let this team have the opportunity to play for a national championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he sounds like a coach that would love to have that chance.
Kickoff is fielded by Rodriguez. He's up over the 30, breaks out to the far sideline. Finally knocked down just over the 45-yard line.
This Rodriguez
by Brandon
kid,
Howard.
This Rodriguez kid is fearless. I mean, number 18. I mean, Jamar Rodriguez, he goes for 5'8", 160 pounds with the shoulder pads, the helmet, and the cleats on. But looks how he just runs full speed all the time. He's by far the smallest guy on the football field, but maybe the toughest, because the guy has no fear when he hits it up in there on kickoff and punt returns.
38-yard return for Rodriguez. He had, coming into the game, an average of 31, and that leads the SIAC, and he's done nothing but build upon that so far in this game. So can his teammates, led by Christian Sterling, the transfer from Texas Tech, tie this game? Sterling under pressure. He was looking to drop it off and couldn't quite connect with Keaton Willis, the fullback out of Atlanta. Sterling, frankly, hasn't looked as sharp as I thought he would look.
Yeah, I mean, he's a better player than what he's showing today, and I think he just could never get in sync. And part of it may be because they're trying to have a commitment to the running game, which I think is a good idea. You have to run the football, but sometimes a quarterback can't get into his rhythm when you're running the football a lot more than he's used to. A lot of running plays being called by Morehouse, not giving him an opportunity to pass as much as he's used to doing in a normal football game.
They keep it on the ground. Big fullback, Pinckney, over the right side. Stopped by Jeremy Obie. Pinckney, 5'10", 225 pounds.
See, Morehouse is getting an I formation. Pinckney is the big back. They wanted to get him going today. Take some pressure off of Sterling in this passing game and try to get some yards on the ground. But I think they're going to have to go to the air if they want to be effective against this Tuskegee's defense, because they're very staunch up front as far as stopping that running game.
That 5-yard pickup sets up 3rd and 5 for Morehouse at the Tuskegee 49. Sterling tries to dump it off, but very little going there. Quincy Avery couldn't get very far thanks to Tuskegee's defensive unit.
Yeah, and that defense for Tuskegee, they're really starting to take over this football game. I mean, they're no slouch. They play a very good brand of defense, and they're tackling extremely well. Morehouse College offense hasn't been able to make a lot of people miss. You get the catch, you get another yard or so, and then they take you down.
Back on comes Micah Strike to punt it away. Standing at his on 33-yard line, Wayne Williams back at the Tuskegee 18, awaiting his punt. William fields it on the bounce. Gets up the middle where he gets out across the 27-yard line. Ty Huff, the sophomore from Atlanta, comes up with the stop. SIAC standings, no surprise. There is Tuskegee at the very top, but for Rich Freeman and the Morehouse Maroon Tigers, this is a very big game and maybe a pivotal year.
Yeah, very crucial game. They started off with an early season loss to Benedict, a game they felt they could win. Played a couple other tough games, got back into this thing at 3-1, but this is the game that they really needed to get over the hump to say, instead of being a middle of the pack SIAC team, we're a team that can compete for a championship with the Tuskegees in the Albany States.
So now with the lead, Tuskegee has the ball back. Atkinson has a receiver. That's Antoine Mitchell stretching out as the final seconds of the 3rd quarter come to an end, and it is 21-14, Tuskegee leading with 1 quarter remaining here in Columbus, Georgia. The Golden Tigers have turned it around to a degree. We'll return with the final quarter of the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic from Columbus on ESPNU after these messages.
From
it's a big classic for us. You know, we play them up in Columbus, neutral site. It's a big game for me. My senior year, I had an interception, 6 tackles, I believe, in that last game we played them. You know, that tradition goes all the way back. I forget what year this is. Tuskegee and Morehouse has played, but out of the 2 games I played in were awesome. Went down to the end, and we ended up winning both of them.
Well, and I think if you take a look at Drayton Florence and all of the great things that this Tuskegee team has done, I mean, they seem poised to pull off another victory. At worst, it'll go down to the end.
Let's take a look at the E-Rob report and see where we are now. You told us these gems at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Tuskegee, they've been tackling great on the edges, and the offense had a slow start, but they seem to be picking it up now. Morehouse has created the turnovers and also scored on defense, but they haven't been able to establish that running game. Playing tough, but they just can't get over the hump offensively to put points on the scoreboard.
Tuskegee with the ball at its own 36-yard line, 2nd and 2. There was movement along the defensive line, and it appeared to be Joshua Sumter of Morehouse who jumped, number 78. Early on, Morehouse had a problem defensively with mental mistakes in the opening couple of series. They had appeared to settle down. Back to the E-Rob report.
If you look at Morehouse, create the turnovers. They had only 5 turnovers coming into this football game. They get the 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, and also the fumble recovery. Did great in that aspect, but they haven't been able to establish the running game. Their offense is still one-dimensional, but at some point they're going to have to just try to pass the ball and put points on the board. And finally, don't stargaze. I mean, they've been going toe-to-toe with this Tuskegee offense in this 21-game win streak, so I think they've done a great job of realizing we're good enough to play with Tuskegee and we're good enough to beat them, but now you have to go out and actually let that manifest into a W, into a victory. You have to do those small things in order to get over that hump and make those plays.
The 12-yard gain stands. Penalty was declined, so now it's a 1st down and 10 for Jakari Atkinson. He's back to throw, and he goes down. Darren Nettles, the junior from Montgomery, Alabama, by way of Alabama State, comes up with the sack.
Yeah, you wonder. I mean, look at this guy, big number 99. He's one of the guys that's able to put the hit on Jakari Atkinson and also get him down. He's been very hard to sack today, but Morehouse has put some pressure on him, hit him a couple times, made him feel uncomfortable, and now you see another big sack by Darren Nettles, like you said, out of Montgomery, Alabama, went to Lanier High School. One of those players for Rich Freeman who's been playing very hard today.
7-yard loss for Atkinson. He now faces 2nd and 16 from the 41. Pitch to Freeman. And the freshman gets out over the 48-yard line. Randall Ward, number 1 on the stop. Freeman, junior from Homewood.
And look how Morehouse is attacking this option now, which I really like. You see, they're putting the immediate hit on Jakari Atkinson and forcing him to pitch the football. Before, they was letting him skate along, giving him the option to run a pass. Now, they're making a decision for him. You hit him, make him feel uncomfortable, and make the guys on the edge beat you.
3rd down goes nowhere. Jeffrey Cargill was the first one there, number 29 for Morehouse. And suddenly on this series, the Morehouse defensive unit looks like the one we saw for most of the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, I mean, they figured out how to stop the option again. I mean, Jeffrey Cargill, once they're running his option, look how they attack the quarterback. You take away the option. You don't let him have the option to pitch or throw. You tell him you're either going to pitch it or we're going to knock you out and hit you. And if you pitch it, we're still going to hit you. And then the quarterback has to pitch it faster than he wants to, and the rest of your defenders can attack the pitch man.
Chris Kahn on the punt. Tydrick Williams back to receive, calling for a fair catch, and he makes it at the 16-yard line, and that's where Morehouse will take over, trailing by 7 when we return to Columbus, Georgia, and the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. We're on the banks of the Chattahoochee River at Memorial Stadium in Columbus, Georgia. Serene, very calming sight. Football activity going strong here in the Classic. ESPNU's live coverage of women's college soccer begins Sunday afternoon with a Big East showdown as the Connecticut Huskies face the West Virginia Mountaineers. Women's college soccer on ESPNU Sunday at 2 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Here inside Memorial Stadium, it is Tuskegee leading Morehouse 21-14. Bands are here, everyone having a good time. 98th renewal of this series, which began in 1902. And Morehouse not out of it yet with the ball, 12:35 remaining in regulation. Christian Sterling, their quarterback, really hasn't performed the way we expected to see him perform. He's a leading passer in the conference. They keep it on the ground on this call. And Tuskegee's defensive unit responds. Pernez Pinckney, the fullback.
And you're right. You know, Morehouse offense, especially Christian Sterling, hasn't had a great day. But the bottom line is you're down by 7 points. You're in position to make something big happen at the end of this football game. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, only 96 yards. But you're one big play away from tying up this football game. So you just play going forward and don't worry about anything that is bad that has already happened in this game.
3-yard pickup on that last play. Sterling is picked off by Justin Hanna. 6 points for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. Big mistake by the sophomore from Houston. And Justin Hanna makes him pay.
Well, when Coach Freeman, he talked about Christian Sterling, he said this guy is like a Brett Favre. He has a very short memory. He gets back out there and he plays the next play. He's going to have that type of mentality to go back out here and realize that now he's going to have to pass the football, put 2 scores on the board to try to tie this ball game. He can't worry about that last play. He's going to have to come out here and play with confidence and try to make the next play his best play.
Hanna's 19-yard pick and return. The second interception of the day for the junior from Birmingham. Pelez on for the extra point. Couple of eager maroon and white clad Tigers. Hanna's goes up in the stands. That must be mom.
she's in like row 10. I mean, he didn't go to the beginning, to the bottom of the steps. He went on, hey man, we got 11 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game, but did she call him on the cell phone or what?
I don't know, but he runs right off the field and up to see mama.
It's the climb.
Big play for Justin Hanna.
Well, you have to like that. I mean,
she's a proud lady right now.
Yeah, kid makes a big play and runs up into the stands and out of Birmingham's West End High School, and just doing a very great job for Tuskegee today.
Pelez on for the extra point after the penalty. And he gets it, so Willie Slater Jr. now getting a little breathing room. 28-14.
Just running an out route, and Justin Hanna's just sitting at the corner position, does a great job of reading the inside receiver, coming out to him, and he makes the play. Man, keep in mind, Tuskegee, man, they put a lot of good cornerbacks into the NFL, and he's just going and
he keeps running
and running and
Sterling's 3rd interception of the game. But Hanna kept running, headed up to the stands. How often do you see this? The middle of the game.
Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm thinking the players may call him a mama's boy. I mean, you run into the stand midway through the game and give mama a hug for the touchdown, but you have to love that. That's college football at its best. I don't think T.O. would get away with that.
Hey, that's what it's about. Family in the end. Justin Hanna, a big play in a big game. Share the love, right? Of course, I'm sure Coach Slater will talk to him about procedure at some point next week in practice. Love your spirit, son, but
this Tuskegee defense has been great all day. I mean, they've only given up 1 score. Keep in mind the other scores from an interception return for a touchdown by Morehouse.
Rodriguez fields a punt, and he's taken down. That's a fumble. Touchdown. That's picked up by David Newman, but it was Jaquez Pride that caused the fumble, and the door has been opened, and the Golden Tigers have bolted out of it. Excessive celebration probably will be the call as markers are down, but that's a huge play by the Golden Tigers special teams, and you do wonder a little bit about Rodriguez's desire to field that ball and try to run with it.
Yeah, it seemed like he had pretty good control of it, just lost control, and it gives David Newman credit. I mean, this guy was able to scoop and score. A 220-pound junior from Oakland, California, Skyline High School, just did a great job of putting another score on the board for Tuskegee, and that may be too much for Morehouse to overcome. 2 touchdowns in the span of about 10 seconds. And now Willie Slater has the smile on his face.
He's smiling now.
Yeah, we didn't see that when he was down 14-7.
On Tuskegee, celebration rule will be on the 16th spot.
David Newman's a happy man. It's funny, I bet we have a tale of two faces for Willie Slater Jr. in this game. He was all smiles then, and earlier in the game, he was a face of consternation. He's a contented man right now. Pelez on for the extra point. There was movement once again. Markers are down.
Dead ball. Delay of the game. Number 26 of the offense. 5-yard penalty.
This time it was a matter of not getting the playoff in time on the part of the Golden Tigers.
I think they're still trying to celebrate.
That was an 18-yard fumble recovery and touchdown. David Newman was the man that scored. But it was Jaquez Pride, number 21, who really made the play happen with his hit on Rodriguez. Extra point is up and good. 35 points for Tuskegee, 14 for Morehouse.
You can hear, here you can see the returner just loses track of the football. I think he was looking downfield at the attacking defenders, and hey man, that's a good vertical. Going up and over the top by David Newman, and Tuskegee just scoring defensively, scoring on special teams, scoring on offense, putting together a pretty good team effort, and seems like they may get that 22nd victory in a row.
11:39 remaining here in Columbus, Georgia. We're at the 98th renewal of the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic, along with Eddie Robinson Jr., our entire ESPNU crew. I'm Dwayne Ballin. This one started off very close game, and as a matter of fact, Morehouse, the underdog, up 14-7 at the half. The Morehouse defense doing a number, confusing Jakari Atkinson, Tuskegee's All-America quarterback, for a while, but Tuskegee stepped up. Atkinson with the big 62-yard strike to Antoine Mitchell, and they now have moved out with the help of special teams to a 35-14 lead, and the #1 team in HBCU football appears headed towards number 22 in a row.
But if you look at, if you just turn it on the game and you see the score 35-14 Tuskegee, you would assume Atkinson had a big day. Morehouse didn't play well on defense, but that's not the case. Morehouse defense has been playing extremely well today. Give credit to Tuskegee's defense also. They score on defense, score on special teams, get a number of turnovers. And that's how they were able to take this big lead.
Kickoff is fielded and fumbled out of bounds. You know, Rodriguez is very lucky because that ball was fumbled, but fortunately for him, he was right near the sidelines.
Rodriguez, he's just going to keep coming harder every time. And this guy runs extremely hard. I like his attitude and his heart, especially for a guy his size. Look at him. He just fumbled one and gave up a touchdown. Hey, I'm coming right back at you. And fortunate for Morehouse, that ball did go out of bounds and wasn't able to be recovered by Tuskegee. Look at that 21-game winning streak, which is still going along, the longest active streak in the nation.
17 different teams. They've beaten 4 twice. 832 points scored. But the margin of victory also is notable. These have not been close games.
There haven't been a lot of squeakers. I mean, they've had some games. Last year they played Alabama State in the 63-59 game, a game that went into double and triple overtime, and they played Alabama A&M tough last week, but for the most part, they've been handling business in a pretty wide margin of victory. Every week, these guys turn up and they play extremely well.
Offside on the kicking team. They'll be tacked on to the end of the run. First down.
So Morehouse gets a break of sort with Tuskegee being off on that play. 14 points scored in 3 seconds. 14 points scored in 3 seconds. Interception and fumble recovery.
Yeah, when you're already down 21-14 and you give up another quick 14 like that, it's going to be very hard to come back and get a W if you're Morehouse College.
The 20-yard return sets up a 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line of Morehouse for the Maroon Tigers. Sterling to the air, has Stedman across the middle, but did he catch it? I think it was ruled incomplete. So when things are going wrong, they're just going wrong.
Yeah, but you know, I think it's a good job for the offensive coordinator, Leon Murray of Morehouse, just to switch things up for Christian Sterling. I mean, his guy has just been kind of in the fog all day. Let him get a couple no-huddle plays, a couple quick completions. Maybe you can snap him out of it and get that offense moving the way it's been doing earlier in the year. 2nd and 10 for Sterling. Bad snap on the ground. He just throws it away, and maybe that was the right thing to do. But, you know, the thing that Coach Freeman talked about, the short memory that this young man has, it's time for that short memory, as you said, to really kick in. He has to start fresh. Or you have to have a short memory. You get a bad snap and the play doesn't work out, that's not your fault. Now you come back to 3rd and 10, just try to get a first down. But it is very frustrating when you throw interception for a touchdown. You're not putting up a lot of points on the board. But keep in mind that this offense was averaging 262 yards per game in the air, which was first in the SIAC, ahead of Tuskegee. So it's unlike them to have this type of performance. So it's hard to overcome that when you're not used to playing bad. Sterling out of the shotgun on 3rd down. Has Stedman open. Stedman has the first down. He's finally dragged down. One of the players there on the stop was Cedric Ivory, but that moves the chains. It's just a good throw and catch, and here Stedman, give him credit for able to go back and forth to finally get that first down, and one of the few first downs that Morehouse has had today. Stedman, a junior from Savannah, A.E. Beach High School. 11-yard pickup. First down at the 34-yard line of Tuskegee for Morehouse, which really has to get cranking, trailing 35-14 with 10:43 remaining in regulation. Sterling steps up, looks like he's going to keep it. And he comes close to picking up the first down, flags down. That may be against Tuskegee. Might have grabbed a face mask at the very end of the play. Referee Richard Drake conferring with his crew. And it is face mask. That is the initial call. And I feel like in this football game, if Morehouse could have just came out to this no-huddle, fast-paced approach a couple series earlier in the 3rd quarter, they may have had some better success.
Face mask. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Sterling, no one open downfield, so now he takes off and tries to get some yards on the ground, and that's the face mask. Good pull and hold, so that's a good 15-yard penalty call by Richard Drake and his referee crew. Brian King, the culprit on that play. So Morehouse with an opportunity now. 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line of Tuskegee. Sterling under pressure. And he threw it low. He was looking in the general direction of Tawan McFadden, but the Golden Tigers were coming on a rush. Well, this defense has been playing extremely well all day long, man. Look at the Jarvis Devon, who already has a sack on the day. He has 7 sacks now this year. Leads the conference all SIAC last year with 12 sacks. Very good pass rusher for Tuskegee. That's one of those welcome to the SIAC hits administered by Jarvis Devon, just in case you were wondering. 2nd and 10, again from the 12 for Morehouse. That ball was tipped and very nearly intercepted. It was in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, and it could have been another interception. Yeah, Justin Hanna, I mean, this guy has a will of a day. He has an interception, a 2nd interception for a touchdown, ran and hugged his mom in the stands. He's done pretty much everything, and this ball is in the air, and he leaps and almost gets the trifecta. And once you get that 3rd interception, they carry you off the field. Third and 10. Tuskegee is very tough in the red zone. They've been very good all year long, stopping opponents once they get inside that 20-yard line. I think Morehouse may have to burn a timeout. Well, there are 3 seconds remaining on the play clock. So they had to call a timeout to figure things out. Women's college volleyball continues on ESPNU Sunday night.
as the Florida A&M Rattlers take on the North Carolina A&T Aggies. Don't miss a serve, set, or spike. Women's college volleyball on ESPNU Sunday night at 6:30 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. A few plates of nourishment probably out there.
Yeah, a lot of good tailgating. I mean, we're in Columbus, Georgia, but of course that's right across the Chattahoochee River from Phoenix City, Alabama. So, you know, Alabama, Georgia, they do a lot of good tailgating in this area.
A lot of good eating. This rivalry, as we said, goes back to 1902, before the Wright brothers had even taken flight at Kitty Hawk. Movies were silent movies, if there were any at all. It's produced a lot of interesting games, but it has been dominated by Tuskegee over the years.
Oh yeah, I mean, the last 4 years Tuskegee has won this football game. I mean, just look at their program. I mean, they've just been doing a great job with Rick Comegee, and now they turned the reins over to Willie Slater, who's just continued the tradition. This 21-game unbeaten streak, a couple of SIAC titles and HBCU national titles also.
3rd and 10 for the maroon-clad Morehouse Tigers going up against the golden-clad Tuskegee Tigers. Out of the shotgun, under pressure, he gets it away. That's a touchdown to Rodriguez, and they needed that.
Yeah, when he came into the game and lined up in the backfield, you just kind of know you almost have to circle him. He's that type of guy like a Reggie Bush. When he lines up in the backfield, you're like, okay, why is he here? He's up to something. And what he did was got the ISO on the linebacker and just ran an angle route and was able to sneak that in for a touchdown. Very well designed play by Morehouse to try to get them back into this football game. And the only thing I would say is maybe they should have started passing just a little bit early. They were committed to that running game, but it seems like if they just throw the football, it would be their best chance to score.
13-yard touchdown. Micah Strife on for the extra point. He gets it, and it's 35-21. Morehouse down, but not out. We'll return to Columbus after these messages. Tuskegee leading Morehouse 35-21. It's the 60th edition of one of the most storied rivalries in all of HBCU football. The Rattlers of Florida A&M versus the Jaguars of Southern University. This non-conference rivalry started in 1941. Such greats as Bob Hayes, Earl Holmes, Harold Carmichael, and Aeneas Williams have all been a part of this special game. This year, who'll get bragging rights in this MEAC Swipe Showdown? Join us next Saturday from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. ESPNU, home of HBCU football. Now, you promised me, partner, we're going to have some really good eats down there next week.
Yeah, a lot of good eats. Of course, that's only an hour drive from my hometown in New Orleans. And my dad, he's a Southern University alum, so he tailgates out there sometimes.
So, Pop going to join us, going to bring us some food?
Yeah, we'll get him out there, some gumbo, jambalaya.
Mario Jackson fields the kickoff and gets it out to just beyond the 26-yard line for Tuskegee. 16-yard return. Got to work on getting sushi for tailgating. We have to expand our horizons.
Well, I don't think you're going to have a lot of sushi down south, Dwayne. I mean, I'm just going to have to tell you the truth. I'm sitting here with my mouth open, and I've been to a lot of good tailgating. I went to Alabama State, and I grew up in New Orleans, and played with Jacksonville and Tennessee, and I just have never seen sushi on the menu for tailgating.
We
can try to start next week, though.
We have to work on it.
What about some barbecue sushi? Can you barbecue sushi?
You think there's sushi anywhere out there? Tuskegee has the ball and the lead. Fourth quarter. They keep it on the ground. There is a marker down. Movement once again along the interior line. Now Stephen Freeman carrying the ball.
Offside defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You'll notice 73 Keith Butler limped off the field once again. Now there's chicken.
That's the Hogzilla. I mean, you can't. How can you put sushi in the Hogzilla? There's just no room for it.
You have yourself a little refrigerator and you have sushi on the side for someone who might want sushi.
We're going to take that sushi, put it in some cornmeal, and deep fry it. That's what we're going to do.
I think that's called catfish. 1st and 5 for Tuskegee with the lead. Quick flare out to Forney, and the running back picks up a first down for Tuskegee. The Golden Tigers, with 9:21 remaining. Randall Ward was there defensively for Morehouse. So the chains will move, and for Tuskegee now it's a matter of just time management, not making mistakes. You have things where you want them now.
Yeah, but this Morehouse defense, they've played tough all day. I mean, I think Coach Freeman really has the attitude around Morehouse College where they expect to play well and expect to win. So I expect them to finish out this football game. And if Tuskegee should stumble and make a mistake, it seems like their offense may be ready to get on track and put some more points on the board.
Ball at the 39. Atkinson out of the shotgun. Here comes pressure. He gets it away. And it was nearly picked off by Randall Ward. But coming like a freight train was Jamal James, coming at Atkinson. A lot of pressure on him on that play.
You know what, and I'm very impressed by the Morehouse College cornerbacks because they've been getting a lot of blitzes. Look at this is one-on-one coverage. I mean, both of these guys have their man. I mean, Randall Ward and also Johnny Eubanks. Both of these guys have an interception on the day. And Randall Ward almost came up with another one, but they've been playing very well in the back end to allow those blitzes by Morehouse College to disrupt this Tuskegee offense. So tip your hat to those cornerbacks just to go out there and play man-on-man coverage with no help.
But 2nd down for Atkinson. Out of the shotgun. He tries to draw, but they read it perfectly. When he started the move, Jamal James was right there and said, no way. 8-yard loss on the play. This Morehouse defense, for the most part, has been very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. I mean, look here. I mean, these guys are just coming through all over the place. I mean, big number 94, Jamal James. They finally got a couple sacks on Jakari Atkinson. I mean, this is the type of quarterback you can't totally control, but for the most part, they kept him intact. As long as you keep him in the pocket, you can play well, but they've scored on defense. They've had 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery. They've gotten the turnovers. They've done everything you want to do defensively to win a football game. Unfortunately, the offense didn't step up and play at that same level where they've been playing this evening.
That's 5 sacks on the day for Morehouse. The blitz is on again, and down goes Atkinson. This time, it's Jeffrey Cargile. That's 6 sacks for the Morehouse Maroon Tigers.
Yeah, and this guy plays that whip position. He's all over the place. Just had a great day. He came into this game with 5.5 sacks, 10.5 tackles for loss, leading the SIAC. And look at him, just coming around the corner and able to stretch out and shoestring tackle Jakari Atkinson for another sack. Great job defensively for Morehouse.
That punt was very nearly blocked. Williams calling for a fair catch, and he gathers it in at the 37-yard line of Morehouse, where the Maroon Tigers, who appeared to be out of it just a few moments ago, just scored, just stopped Tuskegee. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, they gave up the quick interception to a touchdown for number 14, Justin Hanna. Then they came right back with the kickoff return that was fumbled and picked up by number 58, David Newman. Like you said, 14 points in a matter of 3 seconds. You're thinking it's 35-14. Hey, it's time to go out and tailgate and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. But then Morehouse College, their offense, they come back with the passing game by Christian Sterling, put some points on the board. And now you get a 3-and-out by the defense that has been playing well all day. We'll see if this offense can continue to score more and maybe cut this to a 7-point ball game late in the 4th quarter.
We have seen the changing faces of Willie Slater on the sideline for Tuskegee. As his team goes, so goes his face. Markers are flying down on the field. Morehouse, can they get back into it?
Proud to the snap. Number 76 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I think Richard Drake, man, they've been calling so many penalties with the offsides by Morehouse's defense, and Tuskegee with their penalties. Microphone maybe starting to go out a little.
So the offsides called on John Smith. It's 1st and 15 at the 38-yard line. Christian Sterling stepping up, has a man open, but boy, that was still a risky pass because Stedman was not open for long before that gap was closed by Cedric Ivory.
And they said that this kid has a strong arm, but you can see he has a lot of confidence in that arm because he doesn't mind throwing into very tight places. Very dangerous pass, but if you want to be a good quarterback, you can't be afraid to put the ball in the tight spots.
So the Maroon Tigers are now faced with 2nd and long, trying to climb back into this one after being down 35-14, 7:10 remaining in regulation. They lost this game last year, 33-10. Sterling scrambling and dodged forward. There was another player down on the field for Tuskegee. Appears to be Darian Barnes. Barnes is a sophomore from Mitchellville, Georgia. Log on to your online source for all things college sports, ESPNU.com. This online service will be a gateway to all college sports content from ESPN, combining the latest news with an expanded collection of exclusive material, scores, columns, video and audio highlights, podcasts, live streaming games, and much more. Log on to ESPNU.com today. And now, ESPNU is available in high definition. To get the great action on ESPNU in high def, contact your local cable operator or satellite provider. ESPNU HD, the big picture in college sports. And we're glad to see Darian Barnes walking off the field under his own power. Christian Sterling now facing a 3rd and 7. Are he and his Maroon Tiger mates? Is this impossible?
It's not impossible, but I think this may be 4-down territory because you're down 2 scores with under 7 minutes to play, and it's an offense that you don't want to give the ball back to. So you have to control this clock and try to put points on the board. This is a very big 3rd down conversion to see if they can either convert to the 1st down or make it a 4th and short where you can then go for it, because you have to put points on the board on those drives if you want to win.
Ball at the Morehouse 41-yard line here in Columbus, Georgia. Memorial Stadium, the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic on ESPNU. Along with Eddie Robinson Jr., our entire ESPNU crew, I'm Dwayne Ballin. Glad you decided to join us. It's been a very interesting game. They're resetting the clock at the moment.
You know, we talked with Coach Rich Freeman. One thing he said was that his team has never been able to put together a complete game, offense, defense, special teams. And even today, defense, special teams, great. Offense, kind of average.
Man in motion is Rodriguez. Sterling feeling some pressure, steps up. Finds Stedman, who had it momentarily, but great defensive work by Jeremy Obey. Stedman slow to get up.
Yeah, and Jeremy Obey, he came into this game with 2 interceptions. He just put the big hit on the wide receiver. Look at Jeremy Obey here. I mean, it's hard to catch a ball when you have Jeremy Obey coming over your back, making that type of play.
4th and 7. So it's 4 down situation now for Morehouse.
Absolutely. I mean, they've called a very aggressive game. Defensively, well-timed blitzes. Offensively, they've been somewhat conservative, but now it's the time of the game where you just have to let everything go. You can't hold anything back for the ride home to Atlanta. You have to go out there and just play and try to make plays and see what happens.
McFadden and Stedman down the bottom of your screen wide right, but the play clock elapsed, so there was some miscommunication, and that's a problem for Morehouse.
Timeout on the field by the coach prior to the clock.
So then they are not assessed a penalty because he got the timeout before the play clock had lapsed. The road ahead for Tuskegee, of course, the very next thing for them is a home game against Albany State, Kentucky State. Anything there alarms you for Tuskegee?
Well, Albany State, I mean, that's the team in the SIAC who's won the last couple of SIAC titles before Tuskegee is kind of taken off with this winning streak. I think if you can get past Albany State, it's pretty much clear sailing to another SIAC title for Coach Willie Slater. And of course, at the end of the year, you have that big game at Alabama State, which is the Turkey Day Classic, but that's not an SIAC conference game.
Look at the standings. Tuskegee in first, Morehouse in second. There's Albany State in third. And you know, the way it looks, it is going to be difficult to imagine Tuskegee not winning a title again.
Right, if they win this game, of course, that next game against Albany State, it's not the clincher, but it almost puts you right down the path to winning another SIAC title.
Morehouse on 4th and 7. A bit of desperation setting in. The ball is caught, but it appears to have been out of bounds. It was a shield hingy. But let's wait just a minute and see what the call is.
Willie Slater is right there in front of his face. Of course, he has the best shot at it.
Was he forced out of bounds, or did he catch it out of bounds on his arm?
Yeah, couldn't tell from right here. I don't know if he was actually able to get that foot down, but Jakari Atkinson's running on the field like he's going on offense, so we'll see what happens.
If that's ruled a completion.
Incomplete.
It's ruled incomplete.
Let's see, he goes up for the catch. He only needs 1 foot in bounds, and that 1 foot.
Oh, I don't know. Wow.
On top of the Tuskegee players.
A little hard to tell from that angle, but, you know.
That's a very close call. I mean, in real time action, I think that's just a judgment call that a referee could make either way and just about be correct. It was just that fast of a double play to see what happens.
Notice where his foot comes down, his left foot.
But the left foot comes down on top of the Tuskegee player's foot.
But he's in bounds, is he not?
It's hard to say. From my angle, I can't tell you if he's in bounds or not. But look at all of those players. Look at all the players and coaches from Tuskegee.
A lot of lobbyists wearing gold.
It's kind of hard to say, well, he's in bounds on that sideline.
Well, the upshot is Tuskegee has the ball at the 41-yard line of Morehouse. Atkinson trying to keep it. Doesn't get too far. But he's corralled by Gabriel Harper.
You know, if we look at this 14-point ball game, the 2 plays, those 2 touchdown plays that Tuskegee had in the span of 5 seconds. The interception return for a touchdown by Justin Hanna, and also the fumble return on the kickoff return by Morehouse, their return for a touchdown. Those 2 plays are pretty much the margin of victory in this football game. Other than that, Morehouse has played toe-to-toe with Tuskegee this entire football game.
Of this great classic.
2nd and 8, pickup of 2 by Atkinson. Tuskegee simply has to play smart football now. And that's one way to do it, keep it on the ground, use that clock. That's Nakeem Barton on the carry. You know, Coach Freeman, Rich Freeman of Morehouse, this has been a good teaching opportunity for him. You hear a lot of coaches talk about situations where there may be adversity, but it's a teaching opportunity to move the program forward. Is that happening here?
It's hard to take anything positive out of a win because as football coaches, you're judged by wins and losses. But he took over a 3-8 program, and last year, his first year, they finished 7-3. So that in itself tells you that he has things going in the right direction. Now this year, he said they didn't want to come out here in star games. He felt like last year they were just amazed to be on the field with Tuskegee and were down 21-0 before you knew what happened. Now they're playing hard and they're expecting to win this type of football game.
Atkinson under pressure. He eludes defenders again. It is amazing that this man continues to do that. There were 3 Morehouse Maroon Tigers who had a shot at him, and he turned what should have been a sure loss into a first down.
Well, you counted 3. I counted 6 or 7. I mean, this guy is amazing. Look at Jeffrey Cargill. Now, this time he keeps contained. Look, he runs to the perimeter and turns him back. And usually when you turn a guy back into traffic, someone's going to make a play. But, man, Jakari Atkinson just seems to make people miss in a very tight space. I mean, the guy makes it look easy. He never takes a real big hit for as much as he stays in traffic with the football. Just an amazing talent at quarterback, running and throwing.
Folks, you're looking at a smart football player. So first down now for the Golden Tigers at the 27-yard line of Morehouse. An 11-yard pickup by Atkinson.
You know, one thing when we talked about Coach Willie Slater, we was like, what makes Jakari Atkinson so special? And he talked about comparing him to like the Tiger Woods, to the Michael Jordan, those guys who can, you know, do really good things, but also he can do it really good week after week after week. But look at today. I mean, he only has, what, passing yards 239 and rushing yards 69. And we were saying that he was on a decline. You know, week after week he was kind of going down, but still 308 total yards today. So now the guy is back to where he has been pretty much his whole career, winning 17 games as a starter, 17 straight games as a starter for Tuskegee Golden Lions.
Given the tenor of the times, is he in a recession, depression? Is he on the way up? What is he doing?
Well, he's kind of like the stock market. I can't really tell. He's going
right through the middle. Breaks John Paisley, and he already has one touchdown on the day. That touchdown was saved by Gabriel Harper.
Yeah, coming right at the middle, and this Morehouse College defense, man, they have to be tired. And you keep having to stop with Jakari Atkinson, chasing a guy like that around all day. Then you have John Paisley running hard up the middle. It's just real tough when you have those type of players attacking your defense play after play.
21-yard pickup sets up first and goal from the 8-yard line for Tuskegee. Golden Tigers inside of 3 minutes and in control.
They're content to let some time run off the clock before they snap it.
You know, despite the margin of victory, you and I both know this game was close for a good while. And there's 6 more points. The junior, Stephen Freeman, gets into the end zone.
I think that will pretty much seal the deal for Tuskegee College. And it's a good, nifty job of running side to side, but you're going against a worn-down defense. Stephen Freeman able to find the end zone. 5'10", 210-pound junior. This Tuskegee offense has shown that they can handle some adversity and still come back and play football and put points on the scoreboard.
The extra point is good from Pelez. Caps a 6-play, 41-yard drive and the 7-yard touchdown run by Freeman. The faces of Willie Slater, hot and cold. But when you score 35 in the second half, you know what? You can smile.
All good.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals.
Tuskegee leading at 42-21 here in Columbus, Georgia. Tonight's player of the game, we take a look at our leading man, brought to you by Soul Men, and it's Justin Hanna.
Yeah, Justin Hanna, this guy has been terrific. Their interception here, taking it out the end zone for a couple yards on the return, but then he wants to show you how he gets into the end zone for real. Another interception, his second of the day, returns it for the touchdown.
And then what does he do? He runs up into the stands. Got to find mama, get a big hug. You're done good.
That's my boy.
Hanna and his teammates have had quite the game. They are on their way to going to 6-0 on the year, extending that impressive win streak to 22 games. Morehouse will drop to 3-2 in the conference, 3-3 overall. Next up for Tuskegee, as we noted, Albany State. Morehouse has a quasi-home date at Clark Atlanta. Here's a kickoff. There was some contact on out of bounds between Ty Huff and Jacques Pride. Huff number 44 there for Morehouse. Pride number 21 for Tuskegee.
I tell you, these two teams have been playing a very physical ball game all day long, and Morehouse isn't backing down from the Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
So Huff nails Pride.
And he takes out 3 or 4 of the athletic staff, the cameraman, and statistician also.
Well, you know, when you're playing special teams, you got to make your mark, right?
Got to make your mark. You're only in there for 1 or 2 big plays, so then you have to like it. The kid will hit somebody.
Gets the kicking team. We will re-kick.
We'll re-kick the kickoff. There was a penalty against the kicking team because the ball went out of bounds. Morehouse's remaining schedule, we mentioned at Clark, Atlanta. This could go either way for this team because it's still a young team learning and feeling its way.
But I think they'll be okay because they showed me a lot defensively that they know how to compete against probably the best offense they'll see all year. And I think offensively they still have to get that identity of wanting to have balance. They haven't been able to run the football all year long, and you came into this game saying we're going to try to run, but it's tough to start a running game against the defense, the quality of Tuskegee. Overall, I think Rich Freeman really has this team going in the right direction. You have a young guy, Christian Sterling, at quarterback, only a sophomore. He'll be here 2 more years with those receivers and that great defense. I think Morehouse College will be having some good football in the next couple of years.
Now that shot right there, a little bit of Shaquille O'Neal. Are you with me? A little bit?
Maybe just a little, maybe about 6 inches shorter. Coach Freeman has been around. He coached at Alabama State. He coached at Lane College. And he's been around the coaching ranks. A very good coach. And I think he's the guy to really get this program to not be a program that has a good year every once in a while, but have a good, consistent program year after year.
Once again, the ball is kicked out of bounds. And they're now having problems. Another marker's down. That'll be another penalty against Tuskegee.
Wayne, that's the same way I hit my 7-iron. It always goes left. I just can't keep it to go straight down the middle of the field. He needs a little work on that.
You can hit your 7-iron.
I can hit it, but I just can't keep it straight.
Richard Drake, our referee, has had quite the workout today. We said earlier he's a 3rd member of our broadcast team. We've heard from him a lot.
Kick out. Kicking team. Ball will be played on the 45.
But I must say, with this officiating crew, they've done a very good job. I mean, a lot of the penalties are just penalties. You have to call them. But for the most part, I haven't seen any calls where you say, well, wow, this one was missed pretty badly. That one big play in the out of bounds on the sideline was a tough call, but I thought they got it right. Willie Slater is looking on and just trying to say, hey, can I get out of this thing with a W? I mean, I was mad in the first half. I was excited, and they started to come back.
Mad again.
Yeah, it's been on the roller coaster. He's like, man, can I just get home? I mean, Tuskegee's only about a 45-minute drive. Can we just go now?
So Christian Sterling will come on. Youngster probably learned a lot in this game. The transfer from Texas Tech, who is the quarterback of the future at Morehouse. Coach Freeman really likes this young man. Completes his pass to Quincy Avery. We haven't called his name nearly as much as Freeman would have liked in this game. Avery, Stedman, or Hingy for that matter. 12-yard pickup. Move the chains. Sterling with time to throw. Looking downfield, he does not mind throwing into traffic, and that goes back to what we talked about. He has confidence in his arm. He believes he can complete a pass, and he has no impunity when he throws the ball.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that just has to relax and get his fundamentals under control. Here you can see he's still kind of moving, doesn't set his feet, but he has that confidence of a gunslinger. He has that Brett Favre quality that you like in the quarterback, who feels like my next throw is going to be for a touchdown. My next throw is going to be for a touchdown. My next throw is going to be a big one. And you have to have that attitude regardless of what you did on the series before or the play before.
On 2nd down, here comes a rush. And he is going to run out of bounds. He was grabbed and knocked down, and the flags come down. Van McLeod, senior defensive end, grabbed him unnecessarily out of bounds and brought him down. And you saw Coach Willie Slater ask McLeod, what were you thinking?
Yeah, because you can't just have that. There's no need for that at any point in the ball game, whether it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter. You have to play with sportsmanship and respect, and that's one of the things that Coach Slater stresses on his football team. So I know that's something that he doesn't tolerate, our coach.
Personal foul, late hit, out of bounds. Number 42, 15-yard, automatic, first down.
That's really unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5 yards out of bounds. It's just totally a bad call and just a bad play, something that you should never do no matter what part of the game it's in.
Sterling, 13 of 34 so far today, 142 yards, a couple of touchdowns and a trio of interceptions. He's flushed out once again. He's going for the end zone and overthrows his receiver, but a flag is down. And Derek Douglas has his hands outstretched, wondering what's going on. James Stedman was the intended target. And is Tuskegee just making mental mistakes here at the end?
Yeah, I think it's just frustration. I mean, at this point in the game, it's been a very long day. You're just trying to get out of here with a victory. I mean, you're up by 3 scores, and to yourself, you're just saying, hey, let's let this thing in.
Pass interference, number 2 of the defense. Penalty in end zone. Ball will be placed on the 15-yard line.
Well, Tuskegee's defensive unit is determined to make it interesting here at the end.
But you know, defensively, if you're the defensive coordinator for Tuskegee, what you're saying is let's finish out this football game. You want to play every play like it's the game winner. You don't want to play lax. You don't want to give up plays at the end of the football game just because of lack of concentration. Sooner or later, you'll be in a tight game when this down the stretch play is going to be the deciding factor whether or not you win or lose the football game.
So Sterling now has 1st and goal from the 8. We are inside of 2 minutes remaining. He tosses it up for Stedman. And the pass is incomplete. Stedman gets up limping.
And Stedman came into this game first in the SIAC, 27 catches and 4 touchdowns. Just couldn't really get into a groove today against a very good Tuskegee defense. But Morehouse really focused on running the football. I feel a little too much in this game. You want to have balance, but at sometimes you have to say, if we're a passing team, I have the 2 leading receivers in the conference, and I have Christian Sterling, a pretty good quarterback.